What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another special Pokemon Rants. Many of us interact in the hobby in ways that on the surface would appear to be small. However, if we're willing to look ever so carefully and behind those comments, the jokes, the passive hellos at a Collecticon, perhaps even that awkward handshake with the other party that grasp your hand ever so quickly, forcing you to give the dead fish. If we stop there, we really miss the point and the value altogether. It is people like Hodo Jake that showcase really what's behind those seemingly brief interactions. If we step back for just a few moments and we abstractly ask ourselves, what's weaving this all together? We can often look and say, it's Pokemon that brings us together. And if we're brave enough to crack open the treasure chest and blind ourselves by the light of people such as the man I have here with me today, we'll find there's far more value than that treasure chest could ever hold. So instead, we find the pieces of the puzzle that truly brings us together and makes this hobby a better place. I could not be happier to welcome Hodo Jake to Pokemon Wonder. Jake, welcome.
Thank you so much, Wonder. Appreciate you. This is amazing, Justin. Honestly, having you just, consider me for this has been pretty cool. I'm not on YouTube. I think this is the third time I put my face on camera. If Orion's in here, shout out to him because that was actually my first.
Shout out Orion.
Yeah, he's my first little call on YouTube. So yeah, he broke the ice for me.
We're glad to have you, man. And like I said to you, it's funny because we started this conversation, a couple of days ago, last week actually, and I reached out to you, and you're like, "Oh, I think you got the wrong person." I'm like, no, I got the right person. Come on, let's talk. Let's have a good conversation. And we've talked a few times since then, back and forth, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm excited for today. So again, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And yeah, let's roll into it. Give us the formal intro, man.
Yeah,
Pokemon Blue, get us all started.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Pokemon started early. I'm 33. I think my very first memory of opening a pack of cards was with my stepbrother, and him and I got a pack of Blastoise base set, and he got Charizard base set pack. He's in the back seat, and he opens his pack first, and he pulls the Charizard out of a Charizard pack. I know that's crazy. The Venusaur pack, but
that's great.
And I'm like, oh, that means I'm gonna get a Blastoise. I think I got last. It was devastating.
Sorry.
It was devastating. Yeah. So started off on the wrong foot, but I'm still here.
Right.
Yeah, Pokemon Blue all day. Actually, I think one of my older friends gifted me his Pokemon Blue, and I just started a new game, and I was set Squirtle since day one. Everyone that knows me knows I'm a Blastoise collector to this day. Yeah, man. I've been in it for a while. I think, the typical played the games, played Silver, played Crystal up until maybe I think the last games I really put a lot of effort in were probably X and Y. Yeah. And I think I got out of the hobby for a while, like most of us, whatever, it's high school, college, whatever. And I got back in like 2010, 2011. That's an interesting time because there was far less resources. I don't think there was, I don't even know if YouTube existed, or if it did, it probably had
wasn't popular.
Yeah. It probably only had a couple of videos. And I was collecting with another friend of mine. I don't know if he's in here, Manny. Him and I were doing WotC master sets, but our idea of master sets were just, base, jungle, fossil, team rocket. And we started there. I didn't necessarily care so much for first edition at that time, which I look back and I just want to slap myself. And so I picked them up when I can. I worked on those sets and I kept going. I kept going through Gym Challenge, Gym Heroes. I did base 2 all the way through, I think, some of the e-reader sets. None of them are complete. They're close. They're all, I would say, near mint. There was a lot. I mean, I look back and I remember specifically buying a Shiny Mewtwo unlimited, I'd assume, for like
was-
30, $40.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how things have changed. And, you know,
It only went up a little bit, man.
yeah, it's crazy. It just, it makes me sick. You go watch PK's recent video with him in Nostalgia, just talking about how the prices were back in, you know, whatever that was, 40, $50 for a fossil booster box. It's crazy. And yeah, like a lot of us got back in early 2020. I remember Champion's Path. I remember Vivid Voltage release. I think that was like one of the first booster boxes I got back into it. Buddy of mine, Matt, and I, we both ripped a box, and he pulled the Rainbow Pikachu. And at that time, I mean, it was a cool card, but we didn't know it was such a big deal. Yeah, that's pretty much like, and since then, I mean, I've become a slab collector. I think in 2023, I started grading. I give kudos
a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Give kudos to a friend of mine who had an account with PSA, and I think I subbed 8 cards with him for the first time. I've always been really picky. Really picky. Anyone that knows me knows I'm picky, and anyone that wants a Gem Mint PSA 10 will ask me to look at that card before they submit it. It's kind of funny. And I kind of pride myself on my binders because I would say that most of it's near mint. So I graded. I think I hit 7 out of 8. The one card that didn't PSA 10 was a Plasma Storm Blastoise, the shiny version.
Yeah.
You know, you pray for 9s with vintage. Like that's I mean, unless you're Quilly and you hit a Dark Blastoise unlimited PSA 10, congrats, bro. I think his grade just popped today. Drew is a local. He's part of the Cards and Coffee crew here. We could probably get into
Buccaneer demands 11.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Yvonne. Yeah, I think when I first started my YouTube channel, also that's something I want to just mention. Shout out to Professor Oak because,
of course, yeah,
man is a legend. Slab podcast. Yeah. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe right now.
Yeah, fully agree.
Josh and Oak are absolute legends. Well, I was watching one of Oak's videos. I don't know if it was his or a Slab podcast, but he mentions how he likes to subscribe to people that he wishes would make more content or be more engaged in the hobby.
I remember him saying that.
And I remember he was my first subscriber and just greatly appreciated. I didn't have anything I still barely have anything. I think I have one PSA sub that we did together with a few friends about a year ago. Professor Oak, you're a legend. Thank you. I forget where I was going with that, but basically I'm a modern and vintage collector. I love my alt arts. Anyone in Oak's Discord probably knows that because I'm constantly making little edits of all my 10s. Still got ways to go, but it's getting close. Yeah.
So you, I see a theme though. What I see here is everybody else pulls the chase card from the back, and you're left with like a trainer. That's kind of what I feel.
That's why I don't rip. That's why I don't rip packs. Can't do it. Can't do it. Right. I think I collect a little bit of sealed. I'm not no investor. I don't buy cases, but I like to collect because from the design perspective, I love the designs that they do for these boxes or these booster boxes. And I mean, there's some sort of pseudo rarity with the Pokemon Center ETB, so I collect those. I bought 2 of the Twilight Masquerades because I'm working on an illustration rare binder, and I was like, I only need a few more. Let me just rip this extra one. I need the promos. Let me just rip it. Got absolutely wrecked. It just reminded me why I open packs.
Exactly.
Yeah, it had a tear in it, so I was gonna rip it anyways. But
those are a little rough. I tend to enjoy those with the family. Grade the promos if I can, and the rest goes up for singles. So yeah, it's more of a fun experience. I do have some, but
every now and then you gotta rip a little bit, whether it's with friends, your girlfriend, you're bored at home by yourself, sure, but like it's just a money sink. It's
Very
just
true.
a money
Very
sink.
true.
Especially
What's
for
up?
me, because I only want certain cards out of these sets. Like I want the SIRs, I want the art rares, and I mean I have local shops like in every direction. Like I'm pretty lucky in a sense that the Bay Area has a lot of different card shops, and you know they like to rip a lot when a set comes out. That way they have
Right.
singles, and so I'm typically there picking out the best looking ones. And like
Of course.
people give me trouble when I'm like, why are you looking for like gem mints for your binder? It's just like you're never gonna look at the back. I go to sleep better at night knowing that they're minty.
And I don't know if you've seen any of the times where I've showed my binders, for example, in some live breaks. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Now there are cases where I'll take what I can get. If I
Yeah,
don't have a minty copy, like okay, this is the placeholder
for
for the minty
vintage,
copy. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, man. Like I'm looking at those like I'm grading them, and then I put it in a sleeve and just slide it right on.
Yeah. It's the most satisfying thing when you slip that last card on a page and it just completes
Yeah.
that whole. Yeah,
No, I love it.
I actually, me and Pokeneer, we're both doing a similar binder. He's doing the is it the art rares in Japanese and illustration rares in English, but he's doing the Japanese binder set and I'm doing the English. So from time to time, we'll just update with little videos of us sliding cards into that binder.
I love it. I love it. Sharing the love of the hobby.
Yeah.
Pokey Chef in the house here. You know, he buys near mint, of course,
Oh,
man. But
yeah.
you're grading, man.
Yeah. Chef too. Like Chef's got a crazy illustration binder too. Like him and I have talked on Instagram a lot. Shout out to Chef.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with Wonder before this, Chef, and I heard that there might be a cookout happening sometime soon.
Gotta eat, man. Hungry, man. He's making it look good. That's for sure.
Definitely.
But I gotta know as well, because you touched on it. You said design. You and I have talked obviously before. Tell us your background. Where are you at in terms of your education, your degree? What do you kind of do for a living, and kind of set the stage for us?
Yeah. So I'm a late bloomer. I didn't graduate college until I was 30, literally 2021. I graduated in the pandemic, Zoom University now, but half my college experience at San Jose State was remote. But I went to school for design. I was teaching myself to code front-end web development. So I do HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Kind of wanted to see myself as like a double threat in the creative agency space. I worked at 3 different agencies. Actually 2 I had really great experiences with. And I currently work at a tech company as a web developer. Been there actually for only 2 months, contractor there. I'm enjoying it so far. It's good experience. It's a lot larger than my past roles in terms of like going from a company that's, 10 to 15 employees to obviously, you can multiply that by however much. It's a pretty big company. Been there. It's great. And then, I do web design, web development. And then on the side, I do some design stuff for Pokemon, which has been awesome because, I mean, why not mix 2 passions into one, right?
That's right.
So
do what you love.
Yeah, exactly. So I find ways, whether it's like my own little branding for Johto Jake or branding I've done actually Mertz. If you're watching this now or later, shout out to you. You're an absolute legend. I can't wait to meet
Love
you.
Mertz.
Yeah. I hope I get to catch you at a CollectCon. But I actually did his branding for free. I saw what he had in mind for, he had an image of that Bulbasaur sculpture. I'm not sure if it's like I don't know who the artist was, but I wanted to expand upon that. And with like branding, you want to think about how that design can work in different ways and using patterns and whatnot. So I reached out to Mertz and was just like, hey, are you interested in a new logo? And he was like, yeah, but I can't really pay. And I'm like, I'm doing this for free, like all for you. And he was like over the moon about it. And one thing that I really appreciate is anytime I was in one of his lives, he would shout me out and just like kind of like praise me for the design work that I did for him. And that actually turned into some other opportunities with Weedle's Warehouse. I did Weedle's logo.
Shout out to Chris. Yeah,
Dude's a
man.
legend too. I hope to see
Love
you
Chris.
at Art Party. I think you're vending. I think if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully I get to chop it up with him and everyone else. But yeah,
I love the story, man. I mean, it's funny how those things can lead into. It's just a nice gesture, like, hey, I want to do this because I sincerely want to help you, and that leads to the next thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Opens doors, man.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, definitely. And another shout out on Chris's side of Weedle's Warehouse, the new baby coming in. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Congrats
So super excited. Yeah, congrats, man. Super happy for you guys. Keep in touch, guys. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I see a super chat here from Chaos Emperor. So what's up? I'm here. Love the content. Yeah, he made the correction a few messages later, but yeah, no problem, man. Glad you're here as well. Enjoy the conversation. Appreciate the super chat, and much appreciated, man. Yeah,
shout out to JD. That's actually my conversation with Ryan turned into a great friendship with him and JD. That's Chaos Emperor.
Okay.
Yeah, he's actually pretty close to you. I think he's in Virginia. And
okay.
Yeah, there's a chance I might be staying with him around August. So
okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll poke that bear in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, it's not that far away.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like I've never met him in person, and he's offering his home to me, staying with him for a trip like that, and it's all because of Pokemon. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
It weaves us all together, man.
This is real life.
Yeah. I love it, man. So good. It's so good. I can't express enough in words what this hobby has done, and the connections and the relationships, and just so excited about what the future has to hold. It's gonna be fun.
It's like this constant growing web that has been just expanding. It's insane.
In a good way.
In a great way. An absolutely great way. Locally, virtually, it's been really cool. Yeah.
I love it, man. Well, before we continue, we'll give some love to the chat. I see Basic just joined us as well. Good to see you, Basic, man. Appreciate you stopping in. Yeah, man.
I think that was the very first live I was actually ever on, and that was with DNA and Basic. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it was late night. Like we were going through like base jungle fossil best arts, and he was dead set on Aerodactyl for fossil as the best artwork.
Yeah. He still thinks that's the truth.
I'll give it to him. I'll let him have it. I'm not here to argue with him.
I don't know. We had a little debate session there with Basic. It didn't go so well for Basic. He kind of, his arguments crumble, man. He just crumble under pressure. All jokes aside, good to see you, Basic, man. I appreciate you stopping in, buddy. We got Gengar's Dan in the house early on. We had the Green Shiz. Good to see you, Josh. Pokeneer, Quilly, Orion stopped in. My boy. I love it. I FOMO's in the house, always supporting, man. Appreciate you, buddy. Much love, bud. We talk a lot.
To Orion. He just picked up a pretty big grail.
Did he? I missed it.
He got a first ed base 9 Charizard.
I saw it on Instagram actually.
Yeah.
Okay, that was his.
Yeah, it was a private deal. Made it happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll have to reach out to him, man. Yeah, big congrats, man. That's a huge deal. That's huge. Not the Gold Star Rayquaza he was wanting, but did he have a close on that?
Rayquaza?
Yeah, the Gold Star.
Yeah, he's got a BGS 9. It's clean too. It's like no 8.5 subgrades. It's all strong. Okay. Got like a crazy orb in the mouth. I'm jealous. I'm still
nice.
Like I can picture that card in the back of my head because he really wants a PSA 9 because I think he completed it. I think he has all 27. But
nice.
Crazy.
Yeah, trade your Blastoise for it, man.
No.
Not happening.
Stay in the Pelican coffin until that Pelican coffin is buried in my coffin.
Hopefully, no time soon. No time soon.
No time soon.
We got Salah in here. We got Mr. Walrus. Yeah, not here to support Wonder. Not surprised, Walrus. Not surprised.
Walrus, I did a sticker design for, actually. I wonder if he ever used it.
If it's like the mail that I send him where we spend time and love and appreciation, putting something together, it's probably still sitting that way for him to open. So, yeah, probably not. Probably not.
Shout out, Josh. Hey, oh, my God.
CKK collector in the house. RB's cards. So many great people in here. Ryan Tran, good to see you, Ryan. Brody's Plays. E-Units in the house as well. Of course, Chef's in here, always supporting. Appreciate you, Chef. We got Hoffman's in the house. Skid Ernesto.
What's up, Hoffman?
Nice, man.
Yeah,
nice.
Ernesto.
Good to see you, buddy.
Oh, so many people. Wow.
I know. Legends, man.
Legends. Your whole intro is just like a flex of legends. That's all it really is at this point. Crazy.
It's just wonderful to have so many great people. Oh, we actually have Weedle in here as well.
Oh, yeah. Chris.
Yeah. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. What's up, Wonder? What's up, Jake? Hope you're having an awesome stream. Look forward to watching back later. And no worries, man. Not a worry, man. I know. Busy times. Busy times. Absolute GOAT being interviewed, says Josh. Let's go, man. Let's go. I love it.
I hope I see a lot of you at Card Party. I don't know who's attending in the chat, but we're going pretty deep this time.
Nice. It's number 2, right? You can't do it like the first one.
Gen 1, Gen 2. It's gold versus silver. Yeah. It is.
Like that.
Like the way Pat sets it up, you'll get a color assigned to you. We got, I think it was red versus blue first one. And there's like activities. I mean, here's the thing. Card Party is very targeted towards like kids, but I didn't do any of those like kid activities. We really are. But we were in the vending hall nonstop. If you're a vendor at Card Party, I feel sorry for you in a sense because you're going to be getting so many trade up challenges that you're going to be.
Poor guys. Sorry, Chris. It's end of events.
Sorry. Good luck. I
love it, man. I did overlook one here from Salah. I appreciate the super chat. Jake is the fine dining of Pokemon. I love it.
He's part of
this PSA 11 better than that, right?
Yeah. Sal's another good friend of mine. Yeah, he'll be going to Card Party with us. It's his it's actually his first big event. He's gone to a lot of local shows with us. But yeah, we're taking him across the country this time.
He's in the Bay Area with you?
Yes, yeah. He's only about 20, 30 minutes away from me. Yeah,
he's not the friend that you met that you actually sold things to and you took all of his.
No, that's Coleman. That's like the best friends. I don't know if he's in here or not. Actually, yeah. I sold. This was 2021, I think, like early 2021. WotC was still going crazy, and I had a bunch of extra singles like. How binders typically are. You just start slotting them in the same slot. So if you have duplicates, I was selling duplicates on OfferUp. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. But I met with him, sold him like base set Ninetales, I think an unlimited Heracross, like a few, nothing crazy. And I think it was like $300.
$3,000 later.
Basically, we have the running joke that I kind of ran his pockets when we first met, and been best friends since.
What better way to make up for all the money you took, right? Yeah, let's keep going with that. Yeah, I love it. Well, let's kick it back in. So you're a designer / developer, kind of working front end. Just started a new kind of job and career path. So congrats on that, by the way. Pokemon takes you way back, but you never played TCG. I understand that, right? So yeah, you weren't that guy. Yeah.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh. Give me that. I played Yu-Gi-Oh when it first came out for the first, I don't know, year or so.
No, that's negative points. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. If Jake Smith was in here, he'd be going crazy about it. Yeah.
No, that's like -2 or 3 points, but that's okay. We'll catch up. We'll check back on the scoreboard a little bit later. But you never played. But big Blastoise collector, as you stated earlier.
I wouldn't say big, but I do collect black.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's your
It's a solid collection.
jam.
Yeah.
And you also moved into the space for or I should say, trainer galleries, alt arts. You kind of
Yeah.
have a beautiful binder that we've kind of talked about a little bit, and I've seen
Yeah.
a little snapshot of in previous video. So talk about your collection. What are you trying to achieve? What are you looking at now?
Yeah. I think PK, brought it to my attention a long time ago in one of his videos about collection identity. And, when you get back into a hobby and there's been, 10 years that have passed, it's overwhelming, right? So like, I feel like a lot of us just kind of like, what's this new set? Let's rip it and go crazy. And then you rip Champion's Path and you're like, what was I doing with my life? So
Downhill from there.
yeah, it could go downhill fast. Yeah, so I kind of took a step back, looked at. Obviously, I knew I was going to have a Blastoise collection to some degree, and I was collecting at that point. It was just raw. Like like I said, I didn't start grading until like the beginning of 2023, and that's another props to PK because he's always just like just do your first submission, just do one, just do one,
just get started.
And from there, it's turned into something great. And I'll get into that in a sec. But I focus primarily on PSA 9s for vintage. If I can do PSA 10s, if the price makes sense, I'll do vintage 10s. But I'll look at the 9s up and down, left and right, side to side, black light, blue light, red light, green light, whatever, to make sure that I'm happy with it. And from a modern perspective, as soon as Battle Styles came out, I knew what I wanted to collect, and it was those alt art. Because I was like, the T-Tar's fire, the Empoleon's underrated, the Urshifu VMAX Rapid Strike is phenomenal. It looks like a Studio Ghibli type artwork. It looks nice. Crazy. It looks crazy. So I started collecting them raw, and I was very particular. And I just had like 2 ETBs or like a 2-row of just like raw alt arts. And as the sets came out, I'd buy, trade, sell what I can to, collect them all. And I got pretty close in terms of like all the raw Sword and Shield alts and some Sun and Moon. And then from there, a buddy of mine was like, hey, you want to grade some stuff? I graded 8 cards. And from there, I was like, I'm going to transition all of my alt arts into PSA 10s where I can. And I sold off the ones that I didn't think would 10 and graded everything else. And I've created a spreadsheet actually built on top of one of Rusty's spreadsheets that he made for a video, I don't know, a year or 2 ago. I made a copy of that, and I've kind of gone like bananas with it. I check whether I have it raw, and I keep percentages of each one. So in terms of, I'm doing Sword and Shield, I'm doing Sun and Moon, PSA 10, tag team, alt arts, and I'm going to do all of the special illustration rares from Scarlet and Violet. And I mean, like Scarlet and Violet, that's a whole nother topic. Yeah. It's so, it's going to happen all over again. I just know it. With these cards, and how the market and how this hobby is with modern. Modern is modern. Art's gonna art, as Dan would say.
Right, artist art. Right.
Yeah.
But tell me what's your concerns or thoughts about Scarlet and Violet where they're kind of on that point?
I think it's super I don't want to say it's underappreciated. That's for certain. I think if you look at Scarlet and Violet's first 4 sets, and then you go look at Sword and Shield's first 4 sets, it's
not even comparison.
It's not even comparable. It's just really not. And with like the artwork that they're doing because you have like the cheaper options, which are like those art rares or illustration rares, and then you have the SIRs, which are the harder to pull kind of special textured arts. And I get it. Like there's a lot of Pokemon that are new or you didn't grow up with. But I'm like, if you really take a step back and look at some of these new Pokemon, they're kind of dope. Like if you look at the Chinese legendaries from like Paldea Evolved, like the what are they called? I have like Chin Pao, Chi Yu.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
artworks are phenomenal on those cards. I mean, they're pretty cheap, all of them, and I think that they'll be cheap for a while. And I mean, Paldea Evolved, I seen already kind of getting interested. People are getting interested in that set, but yeah, I think Scarlet and Violet's going to do really well long term. Like I've really enjoyed the sets. I'm working on the art rare binder, as I mentioned earlier, and yeah, my design brain has like, if anyone knows anything about design or web design, there's an app called Figma where it's, I guess I would compare it to like Photoshop or Illustrator, but I basically have each set, like all of the images of every art rare from each set or alt arts, and I like dim them out when I have them, and I have a visual at all times where I can check out what I'm missing if I'm at a shop and I'm like, do I have this or not?
They have an app for that, you know that, right?
Yeah, I know, but I has to look a certain way for me.
Okay, all right, I can respect that. I can respect that. Getting a lot of heat in here for my comments on Yu-Gi-Oh. Apparently, we got some Yu-Gi-Oh fans in the house.
Yeah, I played a light and dark deck way before like Yada got banned, Chaos Emperor Dragon, Black Luster Soldier. I can't even remember what else, but like I think it was the Invasion of Chaos set that was really the last set I remember playing with. Yeah.
You and I spoke about it, when we were talking. If you can play Yu-Gi-Oh, you can play Pokemon.
You can, definitely.
You're good. Like you're good. You don't have to worry about it.
I might learn at Card Party. Who knows?
You should. You should. Apparently, I look like Yugi's grandpa. Yeah, thanks, man. Love you too, buddy. Love you too. Get back to Blastoise. What do you think, man? Post 2012, pre 2012?
In terms of
artworks, like, the artwork here from Josh.
Q for best Blastoise art post 2012 and pre. Okay, so post 2012, I would say it's the Blastoise EX from 151, the Arita. As soon as I saw that artwork, I knew it was from Arita because it reminded me so much of the Dark Blastoise from Team Rocket. I think that it's just, I love when Pokemon look kind of villainous, like Team Rocket. Like,
yeah, I see it.
Yeah, you got the Team Rocket. But yeah, I would say that's my favorite post 2012. Pre 2012, that's a tough one. I think it's either going to be Expedition or Dark Blastoise. It's got to be one of those for me.
It's the one in the water, right?
Yeah, and that one also
waiting to fire.
It looks angry. Yeah,
I love that one. That one and the Kabutops that kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, the Kabutops and the Feraligatr too from Expedition. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, those are hot, man. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. There is one Blastoise I like a lot. It came with Squirtle and Wartortle evolution in the same Blastoise box, but I think it was.
Oh yeah. It's the Blastoise
XY.
EX. Yeah, the Blastoise GX. It had
maybe a Cinnamon. I forget.
Yeah, I think it just has the full art Blastoise GX, and then it has Cosmo Hollows of cards that are typically, I think, reverse or just commons.
That's right. Yeah, I like those a lot.
Yeah, I love.
We got that for my son's birthday, and
I regrettably ripped that box. I wanted.
We did too. Don't feel bad.
Kept it sealed because I'm pretty sure I didn't pull anything.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's just forget about that.
It's in the past.
Yeah, that's right. All right, man. So, you're looking there. You're grading everything from what was initially just your binder, but now you've transitioned to, hey, I want to get all of these in a 9 or a 10 if I can. What made you want to switch? Why not just stay with the binder? What was the reason to say, you know what, grading's the way I want to go?
I think my first slab that I ever had, I bought from DNA at my first Collecticon. It was like $50. It was like an Expedition non-hollow Mew because I was just like, why not? I'm actually thinking about taking that slab to Card Party and just having everyone sign it because it's awesome. Like kind of like a shift in where I am going as a collector. And I still love binders. Like I still have all of my WotC binders. I probably will never sell those. It's just part of, it's sentimental. And going to slabs, I think that it was honestly just, I mean, it feels nice in the hand. Like, I love the graded guards. Like, I have Blastoise here. Shout out to Min at Graded Guard. Shout out to, oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Phantom Display. Simon, you're a legend. Yeah, I love the feel. I love rolling around with my Pelican case, full of the slabs. It just, I mean, there's the value aspect too. Obviously, I mean, when you hit the 10, like it's like a sense of validation too, especially when you're grading them yourself. I try to, like, most of the alt arts I graded, I would say 50 or 60% of them myself. I don't grade a lot of vintage. I think it's tough. Like,
it's hard.
I've only graded a handful, and it's like when I'm like, this can 9. This has a shot at a clean 9. Yeah, I try to stay away from vintage just because I feel like it's graded a little differently, or not necessarily differently. Just, it's harder. Those cards are old. There's things we don't consider. You look at like jungle. Good luck grading jungle. Yeah, great.
Exactly.
Good luck. Yeah, it's like the chipping, the silvering. Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, poking your nose. Poking your nose. Yeah. So that, speaking of grading, I do group submissions for all of my close friends. So they give me their cards. I keep them updated. I pack it. I send them out. They pay me once cards are coming back, and we try to get together and do reveals together. It's hard for me not to look. I used to not look at the grades, but then I get upcharges, and I'm like, well, who's getting upcharged? Who's taking the W? Who's taking the L? And it's so fun. If anyone has that opportunity to, like, or has local friends that can do like a group submission and then just get together, whether it's have a barbecue, get together for coffee, or just like, hanging out at a park and just revealing your slabs. It's so fun. It's so fun when you do well.
Well, and I think that's a great segue, because one of the things I think I really admire that you've done is you put together a couple of nice, I would say, communities and interactions in the hobby. One of those is, you just mentioned it. So Cards and Coffee. Tell us kind of how they got started and where it's at now.
Yeah, we have a group chat of Pokemon people that are all local to us. It's a bunch of friends. Coleman, Sal, Drew, Hussein. I think a lot of you are in the chat right now. You guys are all the homies.
Love it.
I'm sorry if I forget some of your names or I'm blanking as I'm live, but basically it's a bunch of vendor friends, collectors, and we'll be like, hey, we've actually just tried to get together this weekend. There's a local show here this weekend that we might try to get coffee and do something like that. But yeah, we keep in touch. We try to, probably, I would say Cards and Coffee is probably once a month, and we'll go to a local coffee shop and we do slab reveals. Cars and Coffee. Wait, Cars and Coffee. Yeah, Cars and Coffee. Cards. Oh, I see what he's saying. Yeah. But yeah, it's a great time. Like, time flies. And we'll bring some of our collections sometimes, new stuff that we got or whatnot, and we'll talk about what we're looking to collect, what the market's doing, some plays here and there that we're considering where it makes sense. Definitely not investing in Sword and Shield at this time, that's for sure.
What? Yeah. You're not buying at the hype? Come on.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Yeah. If you're buying what people are talking about nonstop, I swear, I wanted to take the screenshot. It was like 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to say no names, but it was about, I would say, like 8 different YouTubers, and they were all Sword and Shield, arrows up
to the moon.
To the moon. It's like, it's too late, guys. It's too late. Move on. Do something. Collect something else. There's so many other eras to collect. But yeah, it's a great time. We really enjoy it. I think Hussein actually just mentioned that we should do it soon because it's been a couple weeks, if not a couple months.
Okay. Yeah. And what made you start that though?
I think it's We really just enjoy getting together and chatting. It's not always about Pokemon too. Like, well, obviously that's what brings us together. It's what we all have in common. But there's life topics we're talking about. There's other things going on. I consider a lot of these guys close friends. So I think that's what makes it, special to me. I feel like I'm a socialite in person. Anyone that knows me, I'm kind of chatty. I think my partner Andrea, it's like, how do you make friends so easily? And she looks at me like she's annoyed with me. Like, shout out to her. She's my pillar. She's pushed me to where I am now. And yeah.
We forgot to say the keyword, wife.
Oh,
this is when you look at the
you're
phone.
gonna be like, huh?
He's talking about me.
Yeah. No, she's great. She actually, on our call yesterday, she interrupted because she was out after work having dinner with a coworker, and she calls me and she goes, "Hey, they don't have Blastoise, but they have Snorlax and Gengar." And I feel like the option I went with, people are going to attack me for. And I had no idea what she was talking about, but she was like, "Which one?" And I said, "Snorlax." Snorlax goated. And I come back, she comes home, and it's like this micro Lego set thing for Snorlax, and we built it last night.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. You built it too. I love it.
I did not. I separated the pieces, but my fat fingers could not build this. There's no way in hell. So we built that last night, which is pretty cool.
I love it. I love it.
She supports me in this hobby. She at first she was like, "What are you doing spending this much money on this just to get nothing?" And ripping packs, obviously, like I don't do that anymore. It's can break the bank.
Well, define nothing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Subjective, right? Subjective. I appreciate you sharing some of the channels there in the chat, as you always do, Ryan, man. Much appreciated, buddy. Speaking of Andrea, how do you enjoy the hobby with her? Like, are you guys opening some things together every now and then? You have a binder? How does she interact with you?
Yeah, she loves to see the submissions. Like she loves to see the grading reveals. I think one thing that we shared that was really cool was she doesn't collect any of the cards. She loves Pokemon, like Mewtwo's her number one, Snorlax is probably her number two.
Okay.
And I would say that when Celebrations came out, we both collected it actually. So she has her Voltex binder, I have mine, and we collected all of Celebrations together. I feel like that's probably like the one set you could actually rip enough of and pull everything.
Did you pull everything?
In my first 8 packs, I remember, I don't know what products it was, but my first 8 packs, I pulled 2 of the Umbreons, and I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. She never pulled any of the big 3, and I felt bad. So I went to this card shop, and I was able to just buy all 3 of them, and I slipped them I resealed a pack, a PK pack.
You pulled a PK pack?
Yeah, I did a PK pack, and she was able to fill the binder with those last 3.
Did she know you did that?
She was like, wait a second, what's going on with this pack? Like, there's
nothing.
Gum
Just keep going. There's 2 more.
She actually really loves that I'm not a Charizard collector. I don't know why. She loves that I like Blastoise, which is like typically not what people prefer, especially when they grew up in 99. Everyone's like the Charizard stan, and I'm just
it's a dragon. Like, we love kids. We're dinosaurs. Like, it's like,
a fire dragon.
Come on, man. Come on.
Not even dragon type. Not even dragon type.
Just to kind of ruin the moment there, I pulled this for Felipe on our last live stream. Yeah. So we pulled that one, and it was my first time pulling that one from Celebration. So it's funny.
Nice. Looks like it's ready to be graded too.
Yeah, it looked good to me. Centering's good. Maybe I'll have you look at it with your laser eyes. We'll see.
Yeah.
We got the green shed said he got the Zapdos of one of those Lego sets, but it's 240 pieces staying in the box.
Yeah, good luck.
Not, yeah,
Yeah.
not opening that one.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have the kids do it, Josh. There's no
Yeah.
way your fingers will, because if mine can't, you got hands the size of like I could just like wrap around a basketball, man.
Squeeze it and just pop
Yeah,
it.
no
No,
shot.
yeah, no, not happening. My wife bought me like I think it was a Gibson or perhaps a Fender guitar, like large.
Yeah, the Lego ones.
Yeah, she bought it for like Father's Day, like 4 years ago. She's like, well, aren't you gonna open it? Like, no. It
You got
it
it.
looks great. It looks great in the box, sweetheart.
Hey, yeah, keep it sealed. It's an investment.
That's right. Yeah, I love it, but
Yeah,
nope.
we
no, not going.
Andrea, she got the office show Lego set.
Oh, so cool.
And
You guys
yeah,
like The Office?
yeah, it's just like a show that we both enjoyed.
Okay.
Like we still watch it from time to time, especially when we got nothing to watch. But it's so funny the way that they set it up. There's like little Easter eggs that you don't consider until you're like, wait, oh, that's hilarious. It's just reminiscing on one specific episode. But yeah, those Lego sets they're kind of intimidating. There's a lot to it. Yeah.
I mean, we built some with the kids, and it's like you're talking about spending like half a day. Like, hey, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, we had to do it. I think it took us like 3 or 4 days, like not necessarily all day, but we did like 3 or 4 sessions building that thing. It takes a lot. Yeah. But they look cool once they're done. But
it is.
Keep it sealed. Keep it sealed.
That's right. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'll tell my wife you said that. So even Jacob said we shouldn't open it.
It's going to be worth more. Yeah. Like, everything goes up, right?
I'm doing this for us, sweetheart. I'm keeping it closed for us. I don't think she buys it. All right. So where's your collection going next? I mean, I think based on our conversations, you're pretty close to closing your graded, I would say, collection. At least, obviously, every set comes out, you got a little something more. But other than that, I'm sure you're starting to look your eyes elsewhere. Where is that?
So the great thing about like when you have like a goal, necessarily have one goal, right? And I know this firsthand. Like there's like side quests or other collection like subsets that you want to go after. And call me crazy, but I've been working on a gold star set as of I got my first gold star at Card Party. 2 of like my favorite. I got Vaporeon PSA 9. And I traded like 2 or 3 alt art, Sword and Shield alt arts PSA 10 for that. And I'm like, oh, if I can do this
all day.
Because like that's another thing is like I grade like duplicates of the Sword and Shield. I like to grade what I collect, and I know that Sword and Shield alt arts are sought after. I knew they were sought after from the get-go, but
before.
Before. And so it made sense to me to be like letting go of these modern 10s that I know I can grade again. That said, the PSA 10s that I keep in my collection are like really strong 10s. And I'm like, I pride myself on that. So like I even have like in that spreadsheet, there's like probably like 8 to 10 cards that I want to replace. So over time, I'll just swap it out once I grade another one and sell that. Don't buy from me if you don't on a week 10.
Transparency.
So I'm working on a Gold Star PSA 9 set. I kind of paused on that because those spiked up, I would say, over like the last 6 to 8 months, especially after that Japanese Umbreon sold. I noticed like a trend of everything else kind of following that. Wherever Umbreon goes, everything else goes the same direction, apparently. But I love the gold stars, crystals and shinings. I'll do PSA 9s over time. I think I have 2 or 3 crystals. 2 are in Beckett, BGS, and then nothing crazy like Golem, Crobat and Kabutops from the crystal. Yeah. And then shinings, I only have Shining Magikarp. Yeah, and funny enough, this reminds me, we just cross-graded a CGC black and white label Gem Mint 10 Japanese Shining Gyarados to a PSA 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Congrats to Coleman on that. I crossed it over for him like a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that was a big one. That's like the biggest upcharge
huge.
I've ever seen.
Hey man, sorry, you owe
Yeah,
$1,000.
yeah,
So what?
that was a big upcharge. But yeah,
Nice.
so like I'm able to, and that's another thing. Like if the Sword and Shield alt arts are going up, there's a few that I'm missing that are going to be painful. Like I still need Gengar, I still need Blaziken. I actually sold a Blaziken, and then it went up like $300 more, like within like weeks after that happened, and I'm like, dang. But like I like the
Yeah.
binder too, so I can just like
Okay.
I can pause on all that and then just come back to that when I think it makes sense to. And so I've been enjoying doing just the art rares from all of Scarlet and Violet, and that's been a nice side quest, I suppose.
I love it, man. Yeah, I think Josh hit it right here on the head. It's like, man, it's got some expensive taste. Why not amazing rares, man? It's like,
I do have the amazing rares, just not graded.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
We'll let you slide, man. We'll let you slide.
And this is like a journey, right? Like I don't expect to have this all within like a year, right? Like I know over time, I like depending on where the market is, if it makes sense for me to pick that card up or trade for that card, I'll do so. But I'm here for the long haul. So me collecting gold stars does not mean I'm collecting it and finishing it within 6 months to a year. That's just
Right.
not possible for me.
You could just sell everything you have and just live on the street and have all the
Yeah,
gold stars
sell
you
a
want.
kidney. Yeah. I'd sell a kidney for a Rayquaza.
That's when you know you're a true collector. Yeah. What organ are you willing to give up? That's when we know you're talking business.
Yeah.
I love it. So speaking of business, how do you construct yours? I'm a little bit mystified. It seems like obviously you're focused on graded. I get that part, but
Yeah.
what's been your strategy? How are you approaching it? What have you done so far?
I've done a few sales, nothing crazy. I'm not like a consistent eBay seller. I've probably sold like a handful of cards on eBay. I do a lot of in-person sales. I actually have set a goal to try to vend a local show this year. One of my other friends, Hussein, actually did that, and he had a great experience. I wasn't able to make that show, but he was killing it apparently. And so that's something I want to do, and I'm working on inventory and volume for that. And who knows, maybe I'll do a Collecticon next year. Maybe, who knows? Like that's a great thing is that like I have like Josh, old card shop. He's local to me. I have Quilly. He vends all the time. And like I have those guys to like bounce back and forth with. Pokeneer too. Pokeneer vends a few times too. And like I have them to like ask questions about their experience vending or like what they would do differently. And it's great support. It's absolutely great support. But like outside of that, like I would like to do more design stuff on the Pokemon side. I don't necessarily want to make it like my actual business. Like this is a side hustle that I enjoy. And that's why I think that's the balance of like doing things that make you happy, but not making it a job or making it feel like you're not enjoying it. So like I'll pick and choose when, I want to do something versus like taking on every client that comes at me.
Right. Yeah, and that'll be a challenge. I mean, we all see that as we do more of what we love. When does it take over, and how do you keep that a passion and keep the fire lit?
Yeah.
Are you primarily, at least up to this point, been eBay? Are you selling online and other platforms?
No, honestly, it's mostly like through Instagram, Facebook, a little bit of eBay. I would like to build inventory for eBay. I think that would be great just to keep that slow churn, something like that. But outside of that, like my goal is just to work on inventory for event, like a live vending event of some sort.
You got some killer slabs there on Instagram, I must say.
Thank you. Yeah,
they look nice.
I love to do the expanded edits or like how I envision those worlds. And that's the great thing about like the alt arts to me is like they're already kind of telling a story. And so I find ways to kind of expand that. And Pete That Shoe also does it. Like he's hustling on that. He's created like a Google form for people to fill out.
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
request, hey, I want to do a design for this card, and that's a nice side hustle. Might have to copy him. Might have to follow that blueprint because it's smart. And I've seen some dope edits from him. He's doing great with it.
That was who?
Pikachu. Colt.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He does his own edits too. He does his through Photoshop. Yeah, he's got some Photoshop skills.
I missed that. From him. Okay, I have to check it out. Yeah, I thought you said his name. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, he does. He's doing it a lot lately.
I love it.
Some pretty unique cards come his way too. Like I think he had a disco Alakazam come his way, so he made an edit for that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it would be nice to. I've been doing some commissions for a few people, which has been pretty cool, and had some unique cards come my way. But yeah, I love to just do those type of design work. It's easy for me to when I enjoy something, I can just spend hours on it. Right? So it's two passions.
Left, a little bit right, tweaking it. Yeah, background. Color scheme. Yeah, I got you, man. I got you.
And it's easy when they're not difficult clients, and they're like, you know what I mean? I don't have to show them 3 options, and then they're like, oh, I like this option, but this option has a better this or that. So it's easy from like when I just do it from time to time with people that just like what I come up with.
I know we kind of joked about it a little bit in our calls, but you're not doing video editing yet. Is that something you're gonna get into? I think, and the reason I ask you that is because knowing how you like to be particular, perfection, see that result at the end of your hard efforts, I think you'd really like video editing.
So I did want to do YouTube for a little bit, and there's a part of me that still does. But there's like so many good people doing it, and it's easy to compare yourself, especially someone new coming into this space, and trying to stand out, or just like, I think it's important just to be genuine and be yourself. And that's scary alone, right? Like doing this, like, it's not easy coming on a live video and having a conversation with people across the world where the chat can go any way, any direction. Like that's
what I'm going to ask you, right?
Yeah, you never know. And it's intimidating, but I think that's one thing that I've seen, like, the best things come about is being most vulnerable. So like there's a part of me that still wants to do YouTube, because I think being vulnerable, being open to trying new things has led me down the right path. And just being more open to different things. And it's something that I consider. Like, I think the YouTube space, I love the creative aspects to it. There's a lot of people that do some really dope edits. And I would love to tinker with it. It's the time too. There's a lot of, if you want to do something right, you have to put in the time.
Yeah.
And me being like, I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist, because I'm definitely not, but like, if a vision doesn't come across the way I anticipate it, if I feel like it's just not what I want to put out, so I would rather not. So yeah, it's hard. And like the topics too is like, what kind of content do I want to make? You have everyone that has their own lane, right? And it's like, you're not trying to, mimic someone. You're trying to be yourself, but like we have like the market talks, we have the card ripping channels, we have just the collector space. There is one channel that I came across that's a small channel, and I'm pretty sure he's somewhat local. I think he's in the Sacramento area, but his name's I think it's Henry's Poke Corner. It's just him and his, like, one of his close friends. Small channel. I think he's out of Elk Grove. It's here in Northern California, but it's so genuine. It's so light. It's so authentic. It's just two guys that enjoy Pokemon, and they talk about the new sets. They're actually both playing Soul Silver and Heart Gold together, and just talking about their experience while they replay it. And it's cool. It's just conversations between the two of them. And I love that. Like, and one thing that came to mind is like, what if we filmed Cards and Coffee? Like, what if we,
that
like,
would be cool.
like had that kind of conversation with like a couple cameras in different directions where we can kind of get angles on everyone, video of the cards we're showcasing, the conversations we're having, the coffee we're drinking. Yeah, I think that would be a cool idea.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
I would like to see that.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe. And it's also like, hey, like, are you guys cool with being on YouTube? Like, you know what I mean? You guys down with that?
There's probably a lot less to go wrong with cards and coffee than beer and coffee. So,
Oh yeah. Oh man. Speaking of beer, Beerski, I know we've never had a real conversation, but you're a gem in this hobby, man. I hope if you watch this on replay later, just know that. And
love that, man.
I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'm so glad that you're in this hobby. I think that you bring a special light to the community, and I dig that. And I can see that you're a genuine, real down to earth guy, and can take way more beers than I can. Let's just say that.
Me too. I'll be out.
I'm a lightweight.
He's below Dan.
Done. I'm cooked.
We're like way below Beerski, so like we're not doing well. Yeah, fully agree though. Beerski is a true gem and one of so many. And again, going back to just how we opened this conversation, it's what makes this hobby so great, man.
Yeah,
it truly is. Yeah. I'm with you here, Chef. I will need another refill. Get a couple of dings, couple of dings happen.
I got my ginger tea.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is ginger beer, so we're good. Cheers. I saw one more I wanted to pick up there. Yeah, I definitely agree. There was a comment there about Pete Chu. Yeah, he's hustling on many fronts.
Yeah, he definitely is. And he went crazy on Japanese 151 too. The man has cases. He's sitting on that for a while.
You got to hold it now, though. You got to hold it now.
Yeah, definitely.
Not a time to sell.
It's just beautiful. Pokeneer, he got me an acrylic box for one of my loose boxes that I slipped in, and plastic just makes things look better. I don't know what it is about plastic. We just put it in plastic and it adds value. I'm telling you.
How does your design brain quantify the fact that you just wrap plastic around something makes it look better? I mean, if it's good acrylic, man, like Phantom display, like I'm telling you, this stuff just looks great. I met Simon, the owner of Phantom. He actually is local. He's actually based in San Francisco. Yeah. Nice. He's an Australian guy living in San Francisco, and he's just killing it, man. Like I got to meet him. This was the first Phantom I ever bought. I think it's the only one I have outside of the glow in the dark one. He gifted it to me during Halloween. Wow. I got a random package in the mail from him, and it was like one of the early. I think it was before the release, so that's super cool of him. Wow, that's super cool, man.
Yeah, very cool guy. Yeah, and he's doing some really cool stuff. I know Pokeneer got the one that fits all three, and he got the base starters in Japanese. That just looks phenomenal. But yeah, plastic just makes things look better.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I like looking at the real thing. And hold the card in your hand. I like to see it. No extra shine, no nothing. Just show me the real card.
This is personal, but so me being very particular about my cards is kind of ironic because I can't hold raw cards in my hands. I have hyperhidrosis, so my hands just get instantly clammy. So I'll have like my buddies like, hey, I need you to unsleeve that. And I'm like looking at it with a flashlight, like, all right, this looks good. No print lines. We're good. Leave that bad boy back up. But I
understand. I get it. But I'm the kid who, when I was little, got my hands dirty. I had to wash them immediately. It's like I don't want dirt on anything. So I'm very particular myself. We'll say that. So I fully understand. I'm there blowing off like specks of dust, like before you put it in the sleeve.
Yeah.
Right. That's me.
PSA will give it a PSA 6 if there's a speck of dust or dirt on it. Sometimes you just actually. Orion, I'm sorry to spill the beans, but he cracked his PSA 9 Crystal Nidoking, because it had a dirt spot on it. He cleaned it, subbed it, and it came back an 8. So painful.
Oh,
I know. He was
oh.
devastated. It'll be okay, Orion. You'll get another 9 to replace it. Or just crack it again and send it again. You never know.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Just crack it
9.
and send it again, man.
Yeah.
That's probably a better bet.
Pray and pray.
That's right. That's right. Josh was heading out on us. Final comment. Thanks, Jake Smith, for creating the Slab podcast overlay. We use it. This is back when we were talking about. Yeah.
Josh, you're getting the wrong Jakes mixed up. That's Jake Smith. That's Minty Mountain.
Yeah.
But
it was at the time we were talking about creating different logos and
yeah.
So it's just I think it was a shout out.
Oh yeah. Oh Josh, shout out. Yeah, I did. I forgot I designed that. I did the banner on the Slab podcast live. So anytime you see Oak and Josh's faces, their little overlay is designed by me.
Yeah, nice, man. There's a little bit of Jacob everywhere, right? Just a little bit. Yeah. No pun intended. I want to go back though. We talked about your hobby and what you enjoy becoming your job, and navigating you not wanting to perhaps dislike that or lose the interest or the fire. The more you go into the hobby, I think you can look back probably 5 years and see that you're more in depth, you're doing more, you're involved. To your point, you're doing graphic design, you're doing this, you're doing that, maybe more in the future. How do you make sure that you're keeping yourself in the place that you're still truly enjoying it? Are you going to start to turn down lots of opportunities? What's your thoughts?
No, I definitely don't want to turn down opportunities. I think I just want to be selective about the opportunities. I definitely don't want to be a yes man to this stuff. Like it can be a slippery slope. But right now, I've just been enjoying what I'm doing. And you're right. I can't believe it's almost been 5 years since I've been back in the hobby, and that's kind of crazy how time flies. And if I looked at my collection then and I looked at it now, I'd be ecstatic. I wouldn't believe it. Like I really wouldn't. And I think that's just, it's kind of one thing that comes to mind when I say that. It's like we get as collectors, I feel like we get wrapped up in so much of the stuff that we don't have, and we don't really stop to take a look at what we have. And that's something that I'm, especially now with like me being someone that's been collecting these alt arts from the jump and then seeing how things are, is like, I want to take a step back and not necessarily focus on getting anything right now. And I can just look at what I've collected so far. And like, I have special memories with these cards. Like the Blastoise that I got, the PSA 9 Blastoise, the first ed I got at Card Party, that was a special experience. That went down pretty unique. I think I'm going on a rant.
Please, Pokemon Rants. That's where we are. That's all right.
But I brought some cards that I didn't think I would sell. I sold a bunch of unlimited raw shinings. I had, I think, all of them except Charizard. I sold those to Gary's Pokemart. Shout out to Gary. And I was able to purchase the Blastoise in the 9 from a vendor that, like, at the time, like, as I was like negotiating price selling those cards, Gem Mint Zach was there, like, with me, like, looking at the card and like, this is a strong 9. And like, just that experience, like, I was actually, the first time I met Zach was at Card Party, and like, that's crazy. Like, someone that has, every PSA 10 WotC holo, like someone that's been in this hobby for a very long time, to just, walk along with me and like, hey, let's go take a look at this Blastoise, man. Let's see what you're looking at. And for him to just, share that time with me it's amazing. Like I have no other words for it. So like me owning this Blastoise, like, it's not just some card. It's like it's a moment in time. So like, I treasure that, and I look at it from time to time, because I don't really display a lot of my cards. I just keep them tucked away, and so it's nice to have those special cards that I can look back at. And what I'm getting at is just like, it's nice to just look at how far we've come as a collector and just appreciate what we have and not necessarily stress about, hey, I wanted this or that. And because those things come with time and it's evident, right? Like and our taste changes, we're downsizing to one big grail and we sell it all and we have that one card and that's it for us, right? Like I think Pikachu said, like there's like that one card. I can't remember if it was a trophy Pika, but there's one card. If he owned it, that would be it for him. And he doesn't want to, right? He doesn't want to have it now because why? Like
he's having too much fun.
Yeah, he's having too much fun, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I don't necessarily need to be collecting to be enjoying this hobby the way I am. Like there's other ways. It's the people, it's the creative aspect, it's the chat. Like there's so much going on, and whether it's vending. Oh, hey Ernie, what's up, Ernie? Good to see you. He's another local I got to meet. That's in Oaks Discord. Yeah, it's a small world. I actually met him and then didn't realize that he was in Oaks Discord. And then the next day, at that same show, I was like, wait, you're Ernie?
This whole time we've been talking?
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't remember Quilly. I think he said the Anna Pika. It might.
Tropical Wind.
Yeah, Tropical Wind. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Pokeneer said it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I enjoy the people. Like I said, like the Cards and Coffee is special to me. It's special to Sal, special to Hussein, Quilly. Like it's a special thing we have and don't want to lose that. So, I mean, whether I'm collecting or not, I think that the friendships are just going to continue to grow.
Fully agree. And that's, as we've said many times in different podcasts and conversations, it's the thing we didn't come for, but it's what we stay for.
Yeah.
It's what we stay for. Yeah. Walrus says, as soon as I get a PSA 9 Caterpie, I'm out.
No, you got to get the whole set. You got to get Metapod too.
Yeah. Get the evolution line. I'll send it to you, Walrus. I'll send it to you. We can escalate your outage here, man. But all jokes aside, we love you, Walrus. The other side of that, though, is it's funny you mentioned the comment about what we don't have is what we tend to focus on and almost idolize.
Yeah.
It's such a weird part of human nature because we do it in our home, we do it in our hobbies, we do it with everything. It's always what we don't have.
Yeah.
And you kind of touched on it, but if you wouldn't mind expand just a little bit more, how do you value and I would say really resonate with what you already have in your possession?
From like just like a collection standpoint?
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you're grading your own cards versus just like buying slabs or whatnot, like that's also like kind of special, right? So like you sourced that card or you pulled that card or someone traded you that card, a friend gave it to you and you graded it. It's about like the special attachments that you have to those cards.
Memories.
So the memories. And I definitely couldn't say that every single card in my collection has some sort of special memory attached to it. But when you set a goal as a collector and you see the progression that you've made and like you set like a really high goal, I think setting a goal to collect all of the Sword and Shield alt arts is kind of crazy, like to do that, especially like saying it now as the market is what it is. It's not going to happen overnight, and it may never happen if things happen, but like I look at the collection that I have and how much progress I've made and the goals that I've set as a collector, and I'm just thankful that I've been able to do that. And I think that sometimes it's just that one card that you want to keep, like that Blastoise. Like if I lost everything and I just had that Blastoise, I'd be okay. Like it would suck, but that's the kind of thing that I'm appreciative of. And like I think another thing is just sharing your collection with your friends. Is a big part. My partner Andrea, she loves the illustration binder. She loves going through the first, because she's also has a design background. She actually went to
Okay.
San Jose State too in design. And so she appreciates the artwork and the color themes and some of these Pokemon she likes. So, but she loves flipping through that binder. And I mean, that's exciting too for me to see her excited about the hobbies that I'm interested in, because I'm pretty sure when I met her, she had no idea that I had this much interest in Pokemon until 2020 happened. And she's like, whoa, this is a thing. And she's been accepting of that. And that I can't be thankful enough for that. And she, we have our trips, and then I have my Pokemon trips, and she's like, it's having that balance has been great. Yeah.
We all know that you waited until you had her hooked to tell her, you know what, sweetheart, I have a Pokemon addiction. I'm sorry.
She probably feels that way, to be honest. She's like, wait a second, you were hiding this, weren't you?
Is this the thing you didn't want to tell me?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll stay around. That's fine. Yeah, I love it though. Good answer. Good answer. Yeah, because it's funny you brought that up, because we had it kind of on an agenda to speak about it anyways.
Yeah.
One other thing I was thinking about, because of your background and some of the things that you really focus on, I can see that you have expertise, is how you think about the branding, even if it's not yet for yourself, because you're maybe still moving in different directions, but the branding of a company seems to be something that you're very keen to, and how to best utilize that.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of your thoughts? Because a lot of us out there either have a company, starting one. How should we think about branding as we look from the lens of a business perspective?
Yeah, branding's important, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be like some big business or whatnot. Like, you can be just an eBay seller, and like your business card could say a lot, right? Like it can show, like, if you just throw in business cards. I'm pretty sure like Pokemon Classic, he throws in a card in every single one of
does.
them. Yeah, like that says a lot. And like, I think consistency in your branding is important. It's also really difficult if you don't have someone with a design eye as part of that business to keep that consistency, because there's things that you don't consider. Just like fundamentals of design can be really important in the way you navigate that. But like,
could you share some points, like specifics?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, if you look at like a logo, like your logo doesn't just exist in one place, right? It doesn't just exist on like your eBay profile. It's going to exist in real life, whether that's when you're vending and you have a vending cloth with your branding on it. Like, how does that live on that fabric? Like, when you bring it to life and you're printing it there, you want to think about how that's going to be laid out, where it's going to be laid out. And like, you're going to have two displays full of cards. Like, where does your branding live on that? And like finding the composition of your branding and making sure it's consistent. So like, for instance, like Weedle's Warehouse, the way I wanted to, like, I wish I could just like continue to design for him when he needs, whether it's like stories post or like Instagram posts or like updates on, his lives. Cause I think that when you create like a theme that is easy to follow along, it becomes familiar, and that familiarity becomes, it becomes something special, because it's something that that is like, you're familiar with it in a way that it brings you joy to some degree as a consumer of that business. So I want to, like, when I'm designing something, I'm thinking about how this branding is going to exist in all of its ways the current business runs. So whether that's branding for promotions on Instagram or different like media outlets, or like digital prints for cards, or packaging would be cool. That goes a long way in a brand. So, and it's hard. It's even hard as a designer to consider those things and like how to scale it. So with Weedle's Warehouse, like, obviously Weedle's is man, like, makes sense to design something with Weedle in it. But the way I wanted to do it was make it sort of abstract in the way that you can kind of dissect Weedle, and the colors are still Weedle, and Weedle's just a bunch of like round balls. If I'm going into like my
Yeah,
graphic,
go for it. Yeah.
it's a bunch of circles, it's a bunch of spheres, right? So I wanted to deconstruct that because there's ways that you can manipulate the composition and you're still familiar with the colors. You know what Weedle looks like from memory. Like you close your eyes and you can think of Weedle, right? And so like those branding and those colors are very unique to Weedle's warehouse, in the way that you don't even have to have the Pokemon included on the branding. You can just see the colors you're using, the typography that you're using, and it all starts to feel like this one world, right, that you interact with. And I think that's super cool from a brand. So anytime I see branding that's like super dope, I'm like, damn, like that takes so much thought and consideration, and bringing it to life that's a hurdle of its own.
I love that. Some good tips there. Everybody bring out your notepads, start writing them down. That's good stuff. I love it. Yeah, I see Chef here chiming in, very important, got to protect your brand at all times. But then Coleman comes in and speaks to it. And, you are a reflection of that. And especially in the hobby where your personally and reputation is on the weight of
facts.
And I think that's a really good point, because I didn't really hear you speak to that.
Yeah.
How do you think about the person intertwining with the brand?
Yeah, I guess it really depends on how close that person is interacting with. At the time, like Chris, I was familiar with. Like I knew he was doing lives, and it's an exciting experience that he creates on his eBay lives. So I wanted to keep things playful, because it's fun. It's supposed to be this interaction between him and everyone that's on his rips, right? Like the reputation is key. Like reputation and branding is absolutely key. And I think when I thought of Chris's designs, you got to think about, how he interacts with his people, how he interacts with the chat. And I think that by creating a playful design, it helped promote that vision of what he created with Weedle's Warehouse. Yeah. But Coleman's right. Like those things are absolutely key in a branding.
And I would love, maybe before we jump off the branding topic, not to beat you to death on this one, but how would you weight the different perspectives in branding? The person, the logo, color scheme. Like, how would you break it down, and what percentage would you give some of these in terms of importance?
I would say, honestly, the person is 50% of that, right? Okay. Like at minimum. And it depends, right? Because like there's not always the face of a company to that degree. I mean, it is a lot in Pokemon. Like you look at Leonhardt and Rare Candy, and he's the face of it.
Yeah.
Whether he wants to be or not, he's the face of it. And so when things go bad with when things go bad with Rare Candy, like he's the face of that. It affects him too. So when you're so close to your branding or your business, you have to, I mean, that's why I say it's about at least 50%, because I think that's a clear example of that. And then like what were the other ones you said?
You tell me, is it logo? Yeah. Is it color scheme? Is it like where else do you put the
logo? Logo is the big one. Like that's the logo of I would say is easily 25% of that. And then that last little bit of 25% is just broken down into, the little pieces of your branding. But I would definitely say that, your logo is the most difficult part of your branding. Like that's like, I think in terms of designing, from a design perspective, like finding designing a logo that represents the business is tough, because you want to think ahead. You want to think of like if you can, like, you understand it represents you, right, as a business. And that's what everyone sees first.
Well, I don't want to hear your opinions on my logo, so we're going to skip over that part of the conversation. We're moving on to the next topic.
Well, I would say yours is better than Dan's. So get that Wish Charmander.
Cheers to that. I heard the ding. I heard the ding. Gotcha. No, all jokes aside, no, it's really good tips because it's sometimes, or perhaps many times, an afterthought about the branding, the logo. We're often so driven on an idea and the business and whatever that venture may be, and the brand and the logo comes after. Like, oh yeah, I guess I have to upload a logo here because there's something on the webpage to say upload your logo. Yeah, and it becomes an afterthought. And
it's a big pause, right? You're like, wait a second, and then you're scrambling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like with Pokemon, I feel like that's another thing about Pokemon is there's so many like good artists outside of the artists that are making these Pokemon cards that are just creating incredible artwork. And like there's so much creativity within Pokemon in general that like there's so many ways that you can create a logo. It could represent a Pokemon. It could represent a region. It could represent a trainer. Like there's so many cool ways that you can incorporate. I mean, obviously the most noticeable one is that Pokeball, right? Like you see a Pokeball, like, and you see an outline of Pikachu and you're like, that's Pokemon related. And everyone knows Pikachu. So that's the cool thing is that there's like already like this sense of familiarity with Pokemon branding that in order to incorporate it into your Pokemon business, there's so many ways and it just makes sense.
I'm gonna have to reach out to you.
Hit me up.
We're gonna talk after this. We'll see. We may see a rebranding to Pokemon Wonder after this. I'm inspired. I must say. I'll leave it at that. Check out Jacob here for anything around branding and logos.
Thank you.
He'll hook you up.
Appreciate it.
One of the things that really catches me when I think about you and I'm looking at your history and where I've seen you interact is you consume a lot of content.
I do.
I mean, a lot. At least in my perspective. You can tell me if I'm wrong. But
no, I keep up with the drama. I keep up with the market. I keep up with Slap. Like so if it's a Pokemon Wonder video, it's on immediately. But if it's a Z&G video, man, I'm beaming for it. Anytime I hear a car talk, I have to. I'll have background music when I'm doing, or like when I'm working, I can just throw on a podcast or listen to PK rant.
Your work allows for that? Okay.
Yeah, I work remotely, so I have that on the side. Unless I'm like, I need my brain 100%, then I'll turn it off. But I have a lot of that playing in the background most days. Okay. Yeah.
Do you get tired?
Do I get tired of the content?
Yeah. Like,
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Like, okay, I gotta step away. I'm listening to this now. It goes somewhere else.
Definitely. Like that's another thing about YouTube. And that's another thing Andrea has mentioned to me. She's like super supportive of the idea of it, right? But like you can say one thing and one person could turn that into something else and it can go left fast, right? So you have to be very conscious and careful about what you say on the internet because it lives forever, whether you like it or not, right? So that's
in, buddy.
Yeah.
So
that
we're not going up from here.
Yeah, and so I definitely know that there's a lot of content where I'm just like I'm drained of this or I'm tired of this topic, and like I feel like there's like that algorithm aspect to it where people are chasing that algorithm, and it's been evident. Like if you're consuming content on YouTube Pokemon related over the past month or two, you've seen a trend. I would say at least one comes to mind, and that can get exhausting and draining because like you're in this like feedback loop where you're hearing the same thing over and over, and that's when I cut out. And I'll listen to my lo-fi music or something to mellow out while I'm working. But yeah, there's
your friends say, nah, man, he goes to sleep listening to Pokemon content.
bedtime stories by PK.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'll be doing it tonight myself.
yeah. It depends on the PK rant whether he allows you to go to sleep or not.
Let me get you too hyped up, but yeah, I mean, it is a lot at times, and having, I would say, some supplementation from other areas and other parts of things you enjoy.
Yeah,
But you keep up with a lot, which I was like, wow, okay, this is gonna take a lot of time for him to really interact in the ways that he's interacting and be as knowledgeable. So he's got to have some thoughts on the impact that it has on him.
I'm starting to feel like I'm addicted to this stuff.
Next topic. And so
yeah, I like the unique perspectives. I think that there's a lot of smart people on here and they get asked a lot of dumb questions. Like Dan said it recently, I'm pretty sure in a live. He's like, I'm an open book, but you guys don't ask the right questions. You guys want to know what beer I'm drinking. You know what I mean? Like, what's in my cup, Mountain Dew or Sprite? Like, and yeah, don't be dumb.
That's good. And I know exactly what you're quoting there, Quilly.
Yeah. Retro.
Yeah.
What's up, Retro?
Good to see you, Retro. Thanks for stopping in. I did miss, we got off and I forgot to mention it. I saw Odie in here. Good to see Odie Opens. Thanks for stopping by, babe.
Yeah. I really wanted to jump on Retro's call-in. Was it last week?
Yeah.
Even then, I was scared to just show my face. Like, even though I've met both of them in person, like I see Josh all the time, and I've met Nick at Collecticon. It's not easy to go on live. I talked to Drew Quilly about this too, and he's like, "Dude, I was sweating before I got on." I'm like, "I get it. I get it. It's not easy." But yeah, Retro. I love Nick and Josh's dynamic. They both bring unique perspectives. They both collect different, or Nick doesn't necessarily collect, but like he appreciates different things, and they just bounce off each other really well. And yeah, I'm excited to see where Retro goes, like with the Japanese wholesale.
He's killing it, man. Super happy for him, man.
Yeah.
I love the new business vlogs, by the way, man. Just don't delete them, please.
Yeah,
don't
more
delete
vlogs. Yeah, I've been watching those too, Nick.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. He says, don't be scared to show your face, man. You're a stud. I love it.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
So you've leveraged IG. We mentioned it earlier in a very specific way. Do you have a strategy for yourself? Are you
on Instagram?
I know and I know you're looking at things deeper than perhaps some in terms of how they use content and being a little bit of background in tech space, design space. Yeah, I'm sure you have some thoughts.
Yeah, I guess I hate this word, but I have an aesthetic on Instagram, and I like that it's a way that I can share my collection, which has been actually reminds me that I met someone from Australia that's also collecting all the Sword and Shield alt arts. His name's Brody, I believe, and like it's just been cool to be able to find other collectors that are doing the same thing. It's kind of cool to like what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Like, where do you see this going? Like, how far have you come? Like, did you grade this? And it's cool to share like that same collection goal with someone else and root for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he recently.
Sincerely.
Yeah, exactly. And he just recently sent out a bunch of alt arts to PSA, and I'm excited to see what comes back. And there's a few other guys like that are probably not in here that I can mention, like Taylor, solid guy. He's been dope to talk to. Like so many people I met through Instagram that I'm hoping to see at Card Party. Like that's like the live events is where it's at. Like I know plenty of other people that have mentioned this, but if you can make it to a live event like Collecticon or Card Party or even a local card show, like you'll meet some people, you'll have conversations. It's a great place, man. Like Collecticon is just It's awesome. It's a beast of its own. And like as a vendor, like I think I mentioned it earlier, like I would like to do a Collecticon maybe next year, and like having a whole section with the boys, like that sounds great to me, man. Like
Yeah, nothing but good times.
yeah, exactly.
Seeing all the pictures everybody's dropping here the past couple of days, from
Yeah,
Collecticon too. Man, a
yeah,
lot of good times, a lot of good looking people there. Good stuff,
definitely.
man. I
But
love
yeah,
it.
like with Instagram, like it's all about being consistent. I love that. Like I can go through all of my posts and see that like I've kind of like created like a sense of collection identity through Instagram. Like people know what to expect if I post something on Instagram, and that's pretty cool. And yeah.
Are you looking anywhere else? Are you going to expand in other areas of social media? You
Um,
kind of, I feel like you're dipping your toes in more and more, and
yeah,
you're going to expand.
maybe YouTube. I do want, like, after saying it out loud, like doing cards and coffee and like a video of just of us talking about cards.
I'll be there, man.
Like
Yeah.
whether like maybe it's a live, maybe it's just impromptu, like maybe that'll take off the stress of the perfection and just like
Right.
put something out. That would be cool. So YouTube's always been a consideration. I want to be consistent with it. Like Dan always says, like consistency is like how you grow, especially in YouTube. I think it's probably the most important part of it. And yeah, maybe YouTube, but like I won't do like shorts or I don't know. I won't do drip or whatnot or any of these live streaming kind of things. So yeah, I don't have the personality for it. I think that's the hard part. Yeah.
Well, and I will say that if you do the lives like we're doing here, it does take away that need to have the edit perfection and like watching it 10 times before you post it.
Yeah.
Like it helps a lot. It's like, well, we made some mistakes.
Yep.
Whatever. Like let it
Yeah.
roll. Let it roll.
Exactly. And I think that's why I liked what that smaller Poketuber is doing with just his friend and having conversations. Like I think it's Henry's Poke Corner, but like he's just having conversations with one of his best friends about Pokemon. And I think that's really cool. It might not be for everyone. Like it's not about, what's stonking, what's the play. And those are things that we can talk about too. And like, I want to just have more of a chill conversation with other collectors.
Right.
JD is the guy that I met through Orion's channel, and I would love to just like do a one-on-one with him and talk about his experience. I know it already, but I would love for other people to hear about that, because he went to Rusty's shop when Rusty still had a shop. He was collecting gold stars, completing the binders of like all the crystals, a bunch of EXs. Like he has a crazy collection from 2016 where he paid close to nothing on. Like he has a story of going to Rusty's and he's just got shoe boxes of PSA 9 gold stars that are just like cheap. You know what I mean? Like it's, and you think back and you're just like, that's awesome. Like people that were in the hobby before the boom, that's why I have like this unique perspective that I have now about things, because I remember it in 2010 and 2011, 2012. And it was just so completely different. And so like I feel like, I don't want to say we're still in a bubble, because I'm so bullish on Pokemon that I see it going it's going to do well long term. Like I talked to you about this yesterday, Wonder, and about like, I met your son and I know that he's going to continue to carry this hobby. At some point down in his life, he's going to revisit like, hey, I want that Lucario from Crown Zenith that came out 20 years ago. I need that promo and a PSA.
Me and Dad opened that thing. I think I threw that thing away. I need another one.
You know what I mean? Like kids will carry this hobby just the way we're carrying this hobby now. There's all different walks of life that are part of this hobby, and it's just constantly growing and evolving. And I'm rambling again. Sorry.
No, man, we're here for the rants, brother. No apologies needed, man. No apologies needed.
I think with like, I forget where I was going with it, but like, I don't want to say we're in a bubble, but everyone that came in pre or post 2020 only has one reality to this hobby. And that's that everything just kind of goes up, right? Like the sealed, the singles, like the Umbreon to the moon, that whole concept. Like, I mean, I get it. I truly, there's a part of me that thinks that the Umbreon VMAX is kind of like the new base set Charizard to these kids. Like, I've met kids at, you know, these events like Card Party, just local card shops, and like they're always talking about, like, they know Umbreon, like that's the card that they want, or rainbow cards. Like,
Right.
I mentioned that to you. Like, there's going to be a point where people, like, these kids are going to grow up, and then they're going to like, I want to have every rainbow card, and you know, like that's going to increase the value of those cards. Like, no one wants them now, and that's another idea, is that no one wants it till everyone wants it. And
Goes back to our previous point. Right. One and what you don't have.
Yeah. Those things come and go.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I see Orion jumped in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate you, man. Love you too, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Quality people all
Much
around,
love,
man.
Dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Much love, man.
Even be able to
but
read
for sure. What's that?
I haven't even been able to read the chat. Like, I don't know.
Sorry, man. I'm keeping an eye on it. Yeah, no worries, man. Good stuff, guys. But no, I fully agree with you, and that's kind of it. Is we are creating the future as we go along, and you said it rightfully so. Like, granted, it's not for my own being, but like we are experiencing Pokemon together, my son that you met, and that's something I think he'll probably remember for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So when I'm gone, he'll look back and say, Dad and I opened that Crown Zenith set together. I want that Lucario.
Yeah.
He's going to jump all over it. He's going to jump all over it.
One thing that hit me really hard was Rusty talking about his dad, and about like his moments with his dad. And because I believe he has the binder. And like, that's like, appreciate what you have. Like, that's where it comes down to again, right? Like, you get caught up in, you know, the next thing, or what you don't have, but you don't really take a second to sit back and look at what you got. And it's not, that goes without, not just Pokemon, with everything. And I could take that advice to some degree, right? Like, I should see my parents more. I should see my dad more, or my brothers more than I do. And I gotta, you know, do that while I still have them.
And it's funny you mentioned that. I talked to my wife about this a lot, and we're an hour and 43 minutes in, so I doubt she's watching. So we're.
I thought I wasn't gonna make it an hour. I thought I would have lost. Dude. Oh my gosh! I truly thought there was.
We're just getting started, man.
Talk for an hour about this stuff.
But all jokes aside, she watches it sometimes. But I talk to her a lot about what's important. And you and I touched on it yesterday, and you know, I phrased it very, you know, darkly around, you know, when we're on our deathbed, like most of the stuff we think matters, it really doesn't matter. And to be honest, Pokemon doesn't matter either.
Yeah.
But what matters is the things that we talked about before, and that is bringing us together, creating those memories. And you know, for us, Pokemon's a way that we bond with the family. We connect with new friends, such as yourself. My wife, she was going out the door to take the kids to the next appointment. She's like, "When are we going to play? I bought this new deck. Like, when we're going to sit down?" I was like, "I know, sweetheart. Maybe tomorrow. We'll play tomorrow." But those moments of just really spending time together and enjoying that around, for us, it happens to be Pokemon. And we thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah.
But remembering what really is important, and we get so caught up in life, the rat race of 8 to 5 or whatever your hours are, and got to pay the bills, and got to get the next job promotion, and I got to travel this week, and we forget to live. We forget to live. Yeah. And I truly think that if we take just a few moments, that everything that we do will be so much better if we just live a little bit in that moment.
Absolutely. My friend Coleman, that one had that comment earlier. He's the guy that I sold the cards to in 2021, and him and I are like just like locked in, like one of my closest friends, if not my best friend. And we are, that friendship exists outside of Pokemon. Like, for instance, we went hiking with him and his girlfriend and me and Andrea last weekend. We're going next weekend. Like, and those moments are just as great as the Pokemon ones. So, yeah, it's the people, man. Like, I can't say it enough. That's why I'm still here. Like, when I was collecting, when I was collecting in 2010, 2011, I had 2 other friends that were interested in it. The other one barely. The other one was also Manny. Him and I were pretty much doing the same thing, and we set that goal, and that was kind of it. Like, we didn't know what else to do, and I wasn't even considering YouTube or eBay at that point. And you look at the hobby now, and you're like, there are so many dope people here. Like, so many people like that I've met, so many people I want to meet and just have a conversation with. Yeah, and I love that about it. If it wasn't for the people, I probably wouldn't be here. Yeah, I truly mean that.
Yeah, and I think Joey from Jay's Corner, we talked about the same thing, and it's, you know, that connection to the people in the community, it changes everything. Yeah. And he was in shoes and sneakers and basketball and stuff like that before, and he said it wasn't there. Like, that community concept was just missing. Yeah. And here it's so prevalent. It's so like in your face in a good way every day. Yeah. And that's definitely what keeps us
agree. There's so many more good people than there are bad people. Yeah, we have our fair share of drama here and there, and but I think those bad actors get flushed out, and we have people in this hobby that call them out. Some do it better than others. There's certain ways of going about, like, we're people, we make mistakes. So everyone's here for the same thing, and that's the love of Pokemon. And we are sharing that in so many different ways. Yeah.
We're very self-regulating. Very like you can't last here long if you're gonna be a bad apple, man.
You won't make it. You won't make it. If you're in it for just the money, like simply just the money, and I don't think I know of anyone that is. It's because they don't exist. They won't last long. And
a great way to look at this, and it just came to my mind at the moment, is we have one of the biggest IPs in the world, and probably more people in the hobby than most any other hobby other than sports or something like that combined. And we only have one rattle. It's like,
we got Opossum. We got Opossum.
Okay, Opossum and rattle. I mean, we have two cops for all of these.
Yeah, J-Love too. We got people all across the world doing this. There's not that many though. But I agree.
Yeah, it's a small handful. That's the point. Yeah. It's a small handful to the masses, right?
There's only so many capes. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, it brings me to a good point with you as well. And we didn't really speak to this prior to this, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the responsibility as a creator. What do you think some of the responsibilities are as a content creator? Because we touched on it indirectly. Yeah, but we didn't really talk about that question.
I'm not going to say names because
you don't have to. Yeah, that's not what that's about.
But there's people that, and I think that the scary part is that there's constantly new people in this hobby joining this hobby that are really new and vulnerable to a sense of, like, what they want out of this hobby. They don't know, right? And so it's easy for someone that has a platform to not necessarily consider that and just let it rip about whatever ideas they believe. And I think where I'm going with this is that, like, being genuine, being authentic, I think those are the people that are doing it right. And it shows. Like, I don't have to say names. Like, I mean, Rusty, right? Like, Rusty is like foundational in this hobby. Like, he has been through it. He has set the stage for, like, where a lot of us want to be in some degree. Like, we want something that, that we see, like, what it can bring you, right? In a lot of different ways. And so I think it's easy for someone to say or like invest in this, or this is going to be the next this, without really considering those people that are going to, like, I don't want to say that
No, that's
there's,
good. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's just, I don't want to say that there's dumb people in this hobby. There's
Well,
like
they're on the path, like they're in the beginning of the journey.
that. No, not, and
Yeah.
not, I'm not really, yeah, I'm not really speaking to that, but there's people that will just take what someone says on YouTube as truth and run
Oh,
with it. And then
right.
you have this sense of hive mind where everyone's
Yeah. Okay.
following
I see your point.
this or that. Um, and that's a dangerous path. And for you to like almost lead that is kind of scary, because you can hurt people, like really hurt people, indirectly, obviously, because we're adults, we make our own decisions, but you can definitely be an influence to a lot of people, and that goes outside of Pokemon. That goes into everything, right? Like
Right. Life.
religion, politics, all of those things. But in the space of Pokemon, it's really no different. You got to be careful to a degree, right? Like I want to, if you truly believe in something, that's fine. But you want to make sure that you're doing it in a responsible way when you're coming across on YouTube. There's especially like this platform itself. Like, maybe I'm ranting, but yeah, that's just my thoughts. It's scary to see. I've seen it in different Discords where like the invest in this, invest in that, and I'm just like, so many people are taking that for word. Like I have this theory that Silver Tempest, like I'm talking specifically about something like that booster box hasn't sold out in Pokemon Center for a reason, and that's because it has a 4-box limit. And these investors, they want to collect cases. And if you can't buy a case off a Pokemon Center, it's just going to sit there while slowly those boxes are going to churn out more naturally. Whereas if you look at all the other Sword and Shield sets, if I remember correctly, they're all sold out. And that's because they all had a six count limit. And so people aren't buying it out because these specific Poketubers are saying, this is your last chance. Buy, FOMO, FOMO, FOMO. And you're going to wreck so many people. Like, not everything, sure, there's a pattern. I think we've seen it, like everything goes up to some degree, but that doesn't mean everything just continues to go up. If it's short term, you can make some flips, you can make some money. But if you're buying this stuff and you hold it for 20 years, you don't know where this can go. So you gotta be careful about that. That's all. Like, I think that the hobby, I'm like I said, I'm bullish on this hobby. I think it'll last for a long time. And I'm probably wrong in a sense that I just say you should exercise some caution. That's all.
Right.
And there's other ways to make money other than, collecting a bunch of Sword and Shield booster boxes, right? Like, there's probably a lot of different ways. And Dan talks about it too, So
right. Well said, as Afomo said. And perhaps somewhat of a piecemeal of what you said, partially at least. Any advice here from Afomo for people coming to the hobby on that standpoint?
That's tough. I honestly, new people coming into this hobby, I think being vulnerable in a way that you're open to meeting people in person, going to a card shop, talking with, if you're a TCG player or you want to get into the TCG, which I don't, but like that's a whole like community there. Like that's a strong community from a TCG perspective. So like, whether you want to be a collector, go to your next local card show, meet people, talk to someone. Like, you see someone that's buying this card that you know about, and you're like, hey, that's a cool card. I actually just graded that, and like, and they're like, wait, what's grading? You can go down a whole rabbit hole. You know what I mean? Like, for new people, I think just like, I would say, learn how to pre-grade and grade your cards at one point. Like, learn, like, maybe stick with PSA because it's it's tried and true from like that perspective. That's probably later down the road. But as a new collector, I think that the best thing you can do is go out and meet people, and from there you have like just a boiling pot of different people, that have different knowledge, different collection goals. You're going to learn about a ton of new cards. Take a second to go through, not Pokedata, but one of the Pokemon sites where you can look at every set and just go, what do I want to collect?
Pokelector or something.
Pokelector, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. You can go through every era and just go through and browse every set and be like, I want to collect every Snorlax card. I want to collect, these rainbow cards are pretty cool. Like there's so many ways to collect. That's the cool thing about this hobby. There's not just one way to do this. And that's another thing, is that we're all figuring out our own path as a collector, as a vendor, as a dirty flipper, as an investor. Like there's so many ways to do this hobby, and you just make it and figure it out on, like, to an extent, you figure it out on your own. And I think that as long as you remember to take what you hear on YouTube with a grain of salt, you'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Coleman here added to that, find people who have a wealth of knowledge and be a sponge. Select YouTubers who take the time to teach and portray the hobby in the light that needs to be, like Rusty, for example. Yeah, well said. Well said.
Facts.
Yeah, good stuff. So we are at a nice little segue here. Bring some smiles. Yeah. And we're gonna run into some rapid fire.
Oof.
You ready, my man?
Let's go.
All right. So you know how this works. The first section will be kind of a little bit of everywhere, but some of the questions will be a little bit more Pokemon related. And then we'll jump into the Poketuber section. So,
okay.
All right. The first one is, why Pokemon?
I like turtles. I know. Like I think anyone that knows me knows that joke. If you've seen that kid that has the skeleton mask from like that meme video from I'll send it to you, but it's basically this kid that's being interviewed on the news, and he's got, I think it's like a Halloween costume, and she is asking him, I can't remember the question, but it's unrelated, and he just says, I like turtles. Me being a Blastoise collector, like it's
the perfectly
gift that I use.
Yeah.
But no, Pokemon, very close to my childhood. If I'm keeping it short,
it's okay. We can rant on these. Yeah.
I grew up like, me and my stepbrother collected. Me and one of my closest childhood friends played silver and gold like none other. Like I remember him and I staying up till like 4 a.m. with our worm lights, like under the blankets, just like, yo, did you get to this gym? Like, did you dude, I just caught Larvitar. Like, let's go. Like, I just remember, it's so nostalgic to me. It truly is. And there's so much attached to it, to my childhood, that it's just a special place to me. It's a warm and fuzzy hobby. And it just reminds me of a lot of good things. And the great thing about it is that I have new memories about it with new friends. Right. Yeah, that's why Pokemon.
What character would you fully redesign with all your skills in graphic design?
Oh my gosh. Would I redesign?
Yeah. You look at it like, man, they messed this one up. I could do a better job.
Oh, you're talking over 1,000 Pokemon right now. I don't want to say there's a Pokemon I would redesign, but it would be a Pokemon I would want to design. So with Charizard, of course, Charizard gets way more love than Blastoise and Venusaur, right? That's just how it goes with not only the cards but the games too. And I mean that in a way that Pokemon gave Charizard an X and a Y. And I'm sure we're going to see a Z with that Z to A. We're going to see a Charizard Z when that comes out, and that'll be crazy, yada, yada. But we need a Venusaur and Blastoise Y. Like, why don't we have the Ys?
Good point. Good
yeah.
point.
Like, okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not some Charizard hater. I absolutely love.
Yes, you are.
I absolutely, yeah. Coleman will tell you I am a Charizard hater, but no, Pokemon. I think the Charizard X is so dope. Like, I love the black and blue flame just constantly coming out. Like, I think that was such a great design. But I would love to see Blastoise and Venusaur get some love with a different type of design.
Yeah, they need a refresh.
Yeah, that would be super cool. Or just like, if I'm just gonna rant, like some new Delta species would be crazy. Like, there's so many things Pokemon can revisit. Delta
species.
Trainer, like, would get a new gym set or a Team Rocket set and involve these new Pokemon. Like, imagine a dark Annihilate. Like, that would be crazy. Like, Dark Annihilate
would be nice.
That would be crazy. And so, yeah, there's some cool stuff that I could think of from from that perspective. Yeah,
I love the Delta species, even just the way the cards look and the kind of goldish reverse hollow look around the borders. Man, I love that look.
I just created an unlimited Blastoise from Crystal Guardians in a 9. That's part of the collection. The Delta species one, the fighting type.
Yeah. Congrats, man.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
I see the Pole Father just joined in here. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by in, man.
What's up, Pole Father?
Good to see you, bud. Yeah, we got lots of stuff. Chef said, just throw a dart, man.
Like, there's so many Pokemon. No, seriously. Yeah.
All right, man. Best vacation location.
Ooh.
You'd like to travel. We haven't got there yet, but
yeah. So I can tell you my favorite experience, and that was like a unexpected travel experience. And of all places, and people are gonna be like, "What the heck are you talking about?" We like to hike, right? So like, Kauai. My first experience in Kauai was so great. Like, that was such a special. Me and Andrea went there in 2018. That was incredible. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. It's the tiny green lush island. There's not a lot of nightlife, but we're there up and early. Coffee, this cool little bus that's just parked near the shore. It's beautiful, and we're off hiking out wherever, and that's probably my favorite experience. And then I would say my second is of all places. Her and I did an impromptu trip to Santa Fe, and we hiked some pretty unique, I think, Tent Rock. If you have a chance to go to Tent Rock near Santa Fe, I think it's probably an hour out of Santa Fe. We did that one summer, and it was insane. So, like, Southwest weather can be crazy. Like, it had like a flash rain that just stormed that came out of nowhere. California doesn't get like that.
Like 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky here in California. We get a little breeze and we're cold, and I see people just like covered in snow in some of these other states, Pokemon people. But yeah, I would say those two places have been some of my favorite experiences in terms of traveling.
Okay. Yeah, we go to DR, we always make a joke, or Dominican Republic. We always make a joke. It's like, is this like a storm, like the end of the world for 5 minutes, and then like the sun's out, like you're good, like it's sunshine.
Thunder, lightning, flash flood, almost like should we run?
It's like no, it's like, just get on your swimming trunks. We're going to go to the beach after this. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Zion's a big one, Pool Father. I would love to do Zion. I heard Andre and I just went to Sedona, Arizona, and we hiked Cathedral Rock and Subway Cave. Epic, man. I'm gonna show you some pics of those if you ever get a chance, or if you maybe you've already been, but that was an epic hike, man. Yeah.
Nice. Love some hiking, man. Love it. Biggest regret? Life, not
And
Pokemon. Just yeah.
um, I'll keep it. I'll keep it PG, I guess, because there's some personal stuff, obviously, like family stuff that I could have done differently. But I would say biggest regret, no regrets. No.
No regrets.
No regrets. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, Wonder. Man, sorry, I'm just trying to think of something that
No,
makes
that's all right.
sense.
Even if you go on the family side, we don't have to dig into it too much.
Yeah, no, like, oh, well, we don't have to dig too deep, but basically, my mom hasn't been in my life pretty much since I was 7 or 8. It's probably the last time I seen her. And I remember I was a teenager and I was living with my uncle at the time. And my family was living there. But basically, I had an opportunity to see her and I turned it down. And that's always been something that's kind of, I was 16. I was probably still upset and I said no. And yeah, I guess that's a regret because, I'm not saying that I'd be better off, having that relationship because I truly don't think it's not something I need in my life. I'm very happy with the people I surround myself with.
Right.
But it's something that I have thought about from time to time. Doesn't happen often, but it's something I think about.
Okay. Yeah, I can share a similar story. It's not necessarily exactly the same, but yeah, when my father died, I didn't get the chance to meet him. He was always gone, so I never met him. And when he died, my mom sat me down and she said, "Hey, I think I was 13, 14. She sat me down. She says, "Hey, I'm going to talk to you." And I'm like playing video games or something. I'm like, "What is it, Mom?" Like, "I'm busy." What's going on?
Yeah.
She's like, your dad died. And she kind of explained to me what happened. And because I had no real deep connection there, I was like, okay, like, are we good here? Like, like Mario Brothers are waiting for me. Like, I go finish this game. And I didn't really talk about it a whole lot with her at the time. But to your point, like that,
Yeah.
I could have done some different things there, but I was young. I
Yeah.
knew he wasn't there, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I'm not spending my time with that. But to your point, and actually in the same words almost, I was very happy where I was. I wasn't like, oh, I miss my dad. Like I wish I would have had a dad in my life. I was like, no, like I'm good. Like my mom's great. Got great grandparents, great family.
I can
Lots of
relate.
love.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, I got video games to go finish. So
Yeah.
let's
Oh,
wrap
man.
this up. Let's wrap this up.
Me at 16, catch me on Gears of War. That was my game back then. Oh boy.
Yeah, good one, man. Best memory with Andrea. Keep this one PG-13, please.
I'd say one of my favorite memories of Andrea and I are probably going to London. That was my first time. It was 6 months into our relationship. We've been together for 7+ years now.
Yeah.
It was 6 months into our relationship. I had never been on a plane. I had never been out of California. And I went on a trip with her
You were terrified.
to the UK. Oh, that first takeoff, it's kind of, I was, it's not fun. I know, I know old card shop hates flying. Like that man dreads it. I think he's going, I'm pretty sure he's going to card party. I don't know how he's going to do it. Like him flying across.
He's making like a 3-week travel trip across the US.
Yeah. I would say one of my favorite moments with Andrea and I are going to the UK, going to London, and both experiencing that side of the world for the first time. And I just remember we we're walking the streets, just kind of getting lost, and we found some like bar, and the way that their pubs are, like everyone's just drinking on the street, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
But the bars and like the restaurants and like in these little like alleyway street town looking things.
You can get lost just exploring. Yeah, I would say like that was one of my favorite moments with her for sure.
I love that. I bet she does too.
Definitely.
What's one thing you want to do before you die?
Oh my gosh, go to Japan. Gosh, that's something that's been like number one on my list for a long time. She knows it. Like if you ask her like where do I want to go on this planet, she's gonna point to Tokyo. Like I want to experience that side of the world with her. Like I know it would be just incredible. Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto. Like I want to explore it all. Like I want a minimum of 2 weeks out there.
Ooh, nice.
Which it's expensive, but right now is probably a good time to go with how the yen is doing compared to the US dollar.
Conversion. Yeah.
So that's something that's on the bucket list for sure.
You're going right after August, I guess.
Yeah.
You see what I did there? Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the year, maybe next year. But that's okay. Yeah. Her and I have talked about it a few times. So it's just that I got to do the planning on this one. That's the problem. So she's the planner. I'll give her all of her flowers. She is the planner. She's great at. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like you think I have a design eye? The way that she breaks down like our trips is like I have an itinerary every day of our vacation. Like I'm like, where are we going? I'm here.
You're late for coffee. Get up.
Yeah. So this one I've got to learn from her and do that research myself. So it's fine. I have a lot of friends that have gone. I even have some friends that have family out there that I could probably figure something out with. So yeah, it's possible. I hope.
Take me with you. Take me with you, man. I want to go.
Well, I'll go.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I FOMO'd so hard when everyone was at Worlds in Japan. Like that looked like it's the birth of
the stories.
Pokemon, right? Like I remember seeing Weedle's post, just his story post of him just like seeing all the art installations and what they did around. It's just it's
city.
insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
The drone shows and everything. It's just
crazy.
Yeah, one day, man. I'll go with you, man. Let me know. We'll do it. We'll do it. What advice would you give yourself in 20 years today?
Don't be so critical of yourself. It'll work out. Like I think that, I'm pretty smart guy for the most part. Like I'll say some dumb things here and there like we all do. But as long as you like stick to something and you're committed and you're passionate about something, I think good things come. I've seen that not just in this hobby, but in my life and other aspects, whether that's with Andrea or my friends or my family. Like me and my stepbrother, he's my brother. Like him and I have known each other since we were 4 and 5. My younger brother, like we're brothers basically. But there was a point where we weren't that close, and I feel like we both kind of separated, but we both made an effort to rehabilitate that relationship, and it's been great since. But what I'm saying is that like from 20 years from now, I would just say you have your good head on your shoulders, and as long as you believe in something and you have the support of the people around you, like you'll do wonders. You truly will. And I think that everyone should like take that as some sort of advice, is that like if you set your mind on something, you can make it happen. You gotta learn yourself. You gotta take action and take that step versus like just prepping over and over again, and
Right.
then never making progress. You got to be okay with fear, with
Failure.
failure. You have to be okay with failure, and you just learn from it. That's as people, we learn from our mistakes and we grow. That's just how it is.
Fully agree with you. Yeah, taking that first step sometimes is the hardest one.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah. I see Ryan, you're out of here, buddy. No worries, man. You as well. Beautiful soul, my man. Take care. We'll be in touch soon, man.
Later, Orion. Thanks for joining, man.
You'll power another 3-hour walk to Walmart Wonder.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know about 3 more hours, but we'll definitely cross the 3-hour mark, I think. But we're doing good. We're doing good. What's more important, belief or reality?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person. Reality.
Okay.
I think with a sprinkle of belief. I think that, like, obviously, like, if you believe in something or you believe something could come true, you can make it happen. But I think, like, set realistic expectations for yourself as an individual in your career. Like, my career path has been wobbly. It took a long time. Like, I don't know if anyone's been here since the beginning, but I didn't finish college till I was 30. So, and I've worked at 3 different creative agencies, and I work at a tech company now, and it's not always straight and narrow. But yeah, I think that if you set realistic expectations for yourself and just, you check those boxes where you can, and you see the growth and you see the progress, I think that's important.
When does reality hold you back from your belief? Kind of dig a little deeper.
Oh, damn. These are the questions that I was stressed about. You can get set in your ways. I think that you can be like someone that's so, like, I'm pretty critical of myself. Everyone has their flaws, right? So, like, I think that's something I have to remember and take my own advice and know that, like, you got to shake off those thoughts and just push forward. Sometimes in any direction, just to get yourself out of that bubble. If that makes any sense.
It does.
I know I'm speaking vaguely on some of this, but, like, I don't want it to apply it to just Pokemon. I think we're all human beings that live outside of Pokemon. I hope at least most of our life. Yeah. But yeah.
Paul Butler says,
really
Wonder likes to test to see how deep the rabbit hole really goes. Take the blue pill or the red pill, man. Blue pill or red pill.
Yeah.
What do you think is your worst personality trait?
My worst personality trait? I'm very stubborn. I can be very stubborn at times. Like, Andrea will call me an old man from time to time. I'm like, I like Pokemon. I'm still young. Like, come on now. No, but, like, yeah, I think I can be stubborn. And she's really, I give her props. Like, she's really good about pulling me out of that and be like, come on now. Like, yeah, like, for real.
Seriously.
Drop it. Yeah. So I would say my stubbornness, probably one of my least favorite personality traits for sure.
Is that your partner's answer or is that yours?
It's probably mine. I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah. What would hers be?
Oh, I don't know.
When she's at the table with her girlfriends hanging out. Say, man, Jacob.
I'm not even trying to be. I'm not. No. Okay, I'm really not even trying to be like. I'm not a cocky person at all. But like her friends like me, so it's like her friends like me. I'm a socialite. I feel like that's one I can actually step back and say like I feel good about that aspect of my personality. I feel confident that, you know, it's scary. It's like when I want to meet someone or talk to someone, I get clammy. I get stressed out, but like it's about breaking that ice and just like showing, like some people, and you can read people, right? Like you can read someone and like, hey, they don't want to have a conversation with you, or
Right.
you know, it is what it is. That's fine. But like you don't know until you take that risk. So I feel like I'm
Very true.
and when I'm passionate about something, I think it's really easy for me to have a conversation with someone. I think where I'm not as confident is like I would say probably like in the career space would be like my technical knowledge, right? Like when I'm talking to senior people that have been doing this, or even someone that's my age that just has way more knowledge than me in something, like it's intimidating, and I don't want to come off sounding dumb. Like no one wants to sound or look dumb, right? And so yeah, well, I don't know what she would say. She would probably say the same thing. Honestly, she probably would. She'd probably say, "You're too stubborn. You're just gonna get set in your own ways. You're gonna be the person that yells on the kids, like tells the kids to get off their lawn." Like she makes those types of jokes. You know what I mean? But
get off my grass, young man.
There's aspects of me that's an old soul. But yeah, Coleman's calling me Grandpappy Jake, but he's just an old soul, and he's even younger than me, so he needs to be careful. He needs to be careful.
Don't throw rocks while you live in a glass house, buddy.
Yeah. That man needs his breakfast in the morning.
All right, we'll move it over to the Poketubers. So name that Poketuber. Give you a break, man. We'll give it this bit a little easier.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
Save me.
Most creative, man. Most creative.
That's easy, Pat.
Inspiring. Most inspiring.
Most inspiring. That's tough. I think there's a lot of people that are inspiring. I think I would say Rusty. And like Rusty's probably one of the most inspiring, the most humble people in this hobby. I feel like that's a safe answer. If I'm giving it to someone else, I think it's Oak. And I just think that he's created such a cool community. Like there's probably so many people in Oak's Discord that don't even know about Oak's YouTube channel. But like he's created this cool community of people. But he's tricking you. If you don't say Wonder, you're getting kicked out of the line.
Yeah. You don't get the prize, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Solid answers though. Fully agree.
Yeah. And I should. It goes without saying, Wonder. Like your presence. I told you this. I told you this yesterday. I really did. You're a pillar in this hobby with like how you present yourself, how you listen to others, how you give others the platform to have these conversations from all walks of life. You know, you're a treasure in this hobby, and I know that everyone that's going to watch this agrees with me. I can stand by that. People that are in this chat that didn't know you are probably going to subscribe to you. I mean that. Coleman, Sal, Hussein, whoever else is in this chat that doesn't know this man should follow him. He interviews the craziest people in this hobby, the people that it's insane. Like to be included is just, it's an honor. It's humbling. Like I can't say it enough how grateful I am that you reached out to me just to talk about Pokemon, you know, and I think it goes beyond that, obviously, with the conversation topics, but I think it's cool to see the different takes, different insight. I think it's you provide something that is just like priceless for the people in this hobby.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
It means a lot, dude. Almost made me tear up, dude. Appreciate it, Jacob.
Of course, man. Definitely.
Means a lot, man.
Yeah. Now, please don't kick me out for not telling.
Yeah, all right. You're back in the prize. That's fine. You've earned your way back in.
Yes, UAP. Yes. Thrifty
yes.
would be dope. Yes, please.
Mm-hmm. I got you on my list there, Thrifty. I've been
Yes,
looking at you
please.
for a long time.
That would be great. Yeah.
I'd love to have it.
Retro too. I would love to see Nick on here.
He was here. He was some of like first 10.
Was he really? Damn, I gotta go back. Damn, shows how dedicated I am. Not enough content, I guess. Damn, I gotta watch that one. I didn't know Nick was on here.
Yeah, it was early on. We were still figuring out technology and stuff.
We need to have. Yeah, I think that would be cool too. Is like bring on some of the guests that have evolved, right, and hear how their opinions have changed. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, fully agree. Fully agree. I keep telling myself I'm going to do that, and it's like as soon as I finish. But then there's so many people I want to talk to, so many amazing people,
though, right? Like that's
my wife's
so
like,
cool. That's
my wife
so
said,
cool.
Do you have enough people to talk to? I was like, sweetheart, you don't understand. Like, I have so many people, I don't have time to reach out to them and try to organize to get them on. There's just so many great people. So yeah, but definitely round 2 one.
You're here for a long time. That's right. The key.
That's what you're hearing. Yeah, I love it. And I'm gonna do a sessions for the wives of the hobby. Yeah,
honestly, that would be awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
I know James' wife got to pop on a little bit during his.
Yeah, that was good.
That was cool.
Wives of the hobby for sure. Yeah. All right, best branding.
Ooh, best branding. I have to say for consistency, I would probably it's a safe answer. It's a safe answer, but PokeRev has done a good job at staying consistent. Nick does a good job with everything. I'd say it's pretty consistent, not just from YouTube, but his mystery packs it's everything.
Everything looks good.
I think Mystic Rips too. They seem to be. I like their branding. I love Brandon's vlogs recently. I've been watching those.
Yeah, I watched that actually one this week. It was good.
The man makes me want to like set my phone alarm to 3 a.m. every day. Like I feel like I'm wasting my life because he sets his alarm and gets up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I truly feel that way. That's me comparing myself, but like the man is just like constant go. It's crazy.
The day he showed, or the whatever multiple days that was, it was like, wow, that's busy schedule, man.
That is crazy. Yeah. I would say that their branding's very consistent, which I really I value. That's tough to do. Yeah.
Okay. Who do you wish was your childhood friend? Of course, they were a child. Let's not make this weird. It's not like like a 45-year-old man and a child.
Who do I wish was my childhood friend?
Yeah. Because they're just like the coolest kid. Like they love Pokemon. Like it was just would have been that really cool guy to have as you're kicking around the playground, throwing Charizard that he threw at each other.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by, Chaos. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks
Later,
for hanging out
JD.
with us, man.
Have a good night, bro.
All right, buddy.
My childhood friend. I mean,
it's a weird one. I know.
It's a weird one.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that.
These are supposed to be the easier questions, Jacob.
I know. Let's revert back to the deep and dark. Yeah. I want Hey Arnold to be my friend.
Hey Arnold.
Hell yeah. Playing baseball in that cul-de-sac, like,
That'd be awesome.
oh my gosh. I feel very blessed, and I'm sure you can relate, that I grew up before the internet really
Hmm.
took off. Like,
Yep.
my childhood was tablet free, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
I don't think that exists anymore.
Mhm.
And we would just ride our bikes and go play street football, play tag, play lava tag. Like, had such a special childhood. And when I look at Hey Arnold, I'm like, that's the type of childhood that I wanted, but I
Mhm.
actually had. So like,
Yep.
it's having that kind of friend group was key. Yeah.
Yeah, it truly was. It was a special time. I remember running off the roof. So we were in a small town called Lowell,
Okay.
and
Like LOL, like LOL.
Lowell.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And we would. It was lower, quality homes, and so they were close together. But we would run from the rooftops at night
Hell yeah.
across one
Hell
house
yeah.
to the next.
Hell
And
yeah.
all the way up to the hill where like the little corner store was that you could get
Yep.
gas and stuff. We buy something and run back across the roofs. I know people were so pissed, man. They're
Oh,
like,
they'd be
"What is
pissed.
happening? These damn squirrels!" But we would just run up and down and just jump, and it was just so much fun, man.
I
So much
love that. That's the type of stuff. Like, I feel like the kids back then are we I'm surprised I never broke a bone. Let's just say that. Like,
Yeah, for real.
I can't believe I never broke a bone. But yeah, like, doing fun, dumb
Yeah,
stuff as
yeah.
kids, like, together was such a
Mm-hmm.
just yeah,
We
priceless.
couldn't afford a BB gun because that's for the rich kids. So
Yeah.
we had slingshots. Like we were like shooting random things and people, and yeah,
Yeah,
fun stuff.
we had me and my best friend, he had a trampoline, and then I had we had a hand-me-down basically that we were
Hmm.
gifted, and we would jump off the roof onto that trampoline.
Yeah.
We would
Yep.
we
Same thing.
we did some dangerous stuff. We took the trucks off of a skateboard and did skateboard skate like on the trampoline. We had a
Oh, nice.
bicycle. We
I
had a
thought you were going to tell me you
bicycle
went down the roof, like onto
that
the onto the trampoline with the skateboard skate.
we did some dumb stuff, man. But I loved it. It was such a
Yeah,
great
it was good
time.
times,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I love it too, man. I see Dan stopped in. Good to see you, Dan. No worries. Always on the night duty.
What's up,
I
Dan?
appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Good to see you, man. Appreciate the support. Yeah. What was it? Street soccer with a plastic ball. Of course.
Hell yeah.
Of course, man. That was it, dude. That's where the money was at. The ones that hurt, like they're very lightweit, but if you get kicked in the face with that thing, it
Oh,
stings. Whew. Yeah,
yeah. I
that's the
buy
one. Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love it. All right, man. Let's do the next one. Where we at? Where we at? So, who do you watch most these days?
Um, I've been honestly watching. I've been watching Pokeoz out of Australia. His name's
Yeah,
Michael.
yeah.
I watch his market talks pretty often. I'd say him. I listen to. I don't remember the name of the podcast. Um, but it's these two guys. One of them just has really similar ideas as me in terms of
Mm,
the hobby and what their grading plays are, and I found that interesting. I also like to listen to I love Cardboard Hands. Like, I love
good stuff.
their stuff. Um, that they get Josh can get heated, like he gets passionate, and I love that. Like, he stands by his beliefs in this hobby, and
He does.
he'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
And Retro is just like, all right, you can have it,
Yep.
bro.
Yeah. Exactly. He's like, yeah, man, I'm good. Like, I'm stopping
I
here.
love that. Yeah, I would say market wise, obviously I'll listen to PK. I'll listen to I honestly I'll listen to nostalgia too. Like,
Hmm.
he
Yep.
might have some hot takes, and there's drama there between him and PK, but he'll have things to say that I agree with. Him and Eli have that podcast where they talk. I think it's Pokemart. I'll listen to them. There's a lot to be said. I don't really pay attention to the chat because that chat goes bananas in all wrong directions. But yeah, I listen to like all of your interviews. Obviously not all of them. Apparently I never watched retros. Yeah, I would say right now that the Pokeoz is someone that he's someone I just recently discovered that I've enjoyed listening to because
it's funny. Yeah,
he comes in to the market approach in a very, I feel it's the most, and no shade to anyone else, but it just feels authentic and sincere, and he's very level-headed. He's not trying to rocket anything to the moon or anything like that or pump something. And I think what he has to say, it makes sense to me. And I agree with most of what he says. Not everything, obviously, but yeah.
I think it's conservative and his delivery is good.
Yeah, I think his delivery, that's a good way to put it, is his delivery is really good. Yeah.
Which probably answers the next one, which is most recent subscription. Pokeos, I guess.
No, I wouldn't say recent, but I would say my most recent was that Henry's Poke Corner, just because I love the heart behind it. Like it's just like I said, it's just two bros chatting it up, and you can tell that they love this hobby regardless of how expensive the cards are.
I think I found it here. Let me see. I'll post it here in the chat.
He's tatted up. He's like neck down, tatted.
Yeah,
I dropped it in. Seems like a cool guy. I don't think he has any. I know he doesn't have an Instagram. I reached out to him because I was like, bro, I want to connect with you. I just want to chop it up. Seems like he's local, so I figured like why not?
Yeah.
He's only like I think an hour and a half out from me. So yeah, like I think that's probably my most recent subscription, and that's definitely not going to be for the people in this chat that want to listen to the market stuff or he's not that like I like. That's what it's great about YouTube is that if I want to listen to this type of content, I have it. It's like you have so many.
You can pick and choose.
Yeah, definitely.
You got some love in the chat. Desi's in here.
That's Chetta. He's a local vendor here in the Bay. You'll see him at every local Bay Area card show. Yeah.
Desi in here too. See ya. Of course, Daniel's in there. Awesome. Good to see you guys. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate it. All right. Who are you most excited to see at Card Party 2?
JD. JD easily. Like meeting him through Orion's channel, him and I have very similar collections, beliefs. We both like. I love that guy, man. He's opening his home to me to stay there for Collecticon in Charlotte. So
I love it.
Like, and I haven't even met the guy yet in person. Obviously, like we had FaceTime calls. We'll chat here and there. But yeah, like making that friendship and then being able to finally meet in person, I'm stoked. Like, and he's vending. Him and his
nice.
Yeah, he has a business partner. I think their business is called Pixel Monster, and they'll be vending at Card Party.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Card Party is going to be epic. I hope whoever's going to say hi if I haven't met you. Would love to just walk the vending hall with you, chat it up at trade night, grab a espresso martini, late night. Let's do something.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the puzzle pieces, man. Put it all together. Brings us all together.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Who would you beat in an arm wrestle?
Definitely not PokeRev. That's for damn sure.
We're in the rapid fire questions. Anybody who's just now joining, so we're in like random, just rapid fire questions.
PK.
Oh, you'll be.
I think I could take PK in an arm wrestle. Definitely not Josh. Not Greeny. Like there's no shot.
No.
That
No,
man can just grab my head and squash it like a watermelon.
But he's never been in the fight. You believe that? I mean, it's just one of those things.
Why would you? Why would anyone want to fight the man?
He probably swings like a baby.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Did Thrifty say radar in the arm wrestles?
Yeah, radar's easy.
God damn.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's a good one.
All right. It's all cap. I agree, Thrifty.
Flat tire, 3 a.m. Who do you call?
We're talking Poketubers?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna make a messed up joke, but I won't. I won't. I would say Oak. Oak seems like the person. Yeah.
He'd wake up.
Yeah.
You just went to bed at like 2:00. He'd come get you.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I love it. Profiler says Wonder gets a 3 a.m. call. I'm sorry. I'm already up, so it's fine. You come get me, man. I got you, man. I'll come pick you up. All right. So we're gonna move into one more question, and then we'll move into the last. Who is your favorite of all time?
In the YouTube space?
Yeah, Poketuber. Yeah.
I don't think I could choose a favorite. I truly don't. Yeah, because I like a lot of you guys in a lot of different ways that I don't think one outweighs the other. And that's probably a cop-out. Like, yeah, I'm reading the chat. Sorry, these guys. Yeah, I would. This is gonna be a hot take. It's gonna be a very hot take, but I think people need to understand where I'm coming from. I would, when I say favorite, it's not because I consume their content religiously, but I would say PokeRev. And that's because of how he kind of brought me back into the hobby. I think it's mainly just because of what he did like early on in like doing the vintage breaks, and just the energy in 2020 and 2021 was something else. And he kind of like, I don't know, it excited us all in a way that was a part of that. Yeah. And it allowed me to explore YouTube further. And I would say that's the reason why he's one of my favorites. But if I'm talking like outside of that, you're one of my favorites. Like, that's easy. Oh. Like we talked about this. Like, what the hell is easy. And then if I'm talking a podcast duo, that's neck and neck. That's neck and neck with Slab Podcast and Cardboard Hands. It's those guys. I love them all. They're all dynamics. They're all the homies.
Great dynamics. I love it.
I got a great question.
Yeah.
Who in this hobby would I like for them to cook for me? Easy.
Chef.
Come on
Chef
now.
954.
Come on. And you know,
yeah,
I recently, I think I watched his again while I was nervously preparing to interview with you. And I remember you asking him what his his favorite kind of food was. And he said street tacos. And I'm like, this is my man. This is my guy. This is my guy. He knows, he understands that it's not about the fine dining experience, because I personally think it's overrated. And I think even he thinks it's overrated. When you can make a taco that just like you'll drive 30, 45 minutes for out of a truck, like Easy. It's a no-brainer.
That's right. But we have to get those slabs and slabs going there. Step with Dan. Dan provides the slabs of plastic. He provided slabs of meat.
Yeah.
You guys run it. You guys run it, man. I love it.
Anything in acrylic just looks better, tastes better.
I was gonna pull this one up. It was a good one. Thrifty says, "If you need a ride, do not call Nesto. He'll just call an Uber, make you pay for it."
He's gonna answer the phone and be like, "Bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?"
I got you, man. I got you. Call an Uber. Like, so yeah, okay, good. Here's your ride. Yeah, that's gonna be $47.50. What?
He's like, "What are we doing? Like, why are you calling me at this hour? What is this?
Yeah.
Is this real life?"
Somebody said it when we were talking about favorite childhood friend, and somebody said Nesto. It's like that'd be hilarious.
Oh my god! I feel like I've had friends like Ernie as a kid. Like in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah.
In an entertaining way, to say the least.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
All right, my man. We'll move into the later section of today. You have been with Andrea for about 8 years now.
Almost, yeah.
And going on it.
January.
And that's a long time to be with somebody and to continue to strive for a good relationship. What made you choose her to start with?
She's probably the kindest, most considerate person I've ever met, and smart, motivated, and she's kind of been like a pillar in my life. I wouldn't be where I'm at without her. That's no doubt in my mind. I think we both have motivated each other in our lives, and I think that's really important. With your significant other is to find ways to push one another.
Yeah.
And she's definitely done that in my life, and I hope that I have reciprocated the same to some degree. But she's just a good soul, and she loves the little things, and I could definitely, I don't know how to say this, but her and I have just really, we met through photography. Both of us were photographers. Okay. Both shot film. We both shot portraits and fashion, and I slid into her DMs once, and the rest was history, basically. And we used to do, this was before the pandemic, but her and I would photograph clothing brands, and like sharing that passion with someone is such a special thing. And we don't do it anymore. Photography is still important to us to some degree. We don't actively shoot like we used to, because it was expensive. We shot medium format film, and that gets costly fast. And when you're doing it for small startup brands, like their budgets are tiny. We didn't have any like major brand deals with any company where we're shooting regularly. And if we did, we wouldn't be shooting film. And it was because we loved it and we were passionate about it, and we were willing to put that money into it. And lives happen, our careers evolved, but that time in our lives was super special. And if you go onto I followed you on my personal Instagram, Wonder, and if you can go back, like all of those photo shoots, her and I were involved in. It's like our photo shoots.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of those were shot by us. And we both had, our own creative input into those. And that I look back at that, and it was a really, really great time in our relationship. And I think traveling is like a really special part of our relationship, and trying to do that more. And we tend to try to go to somewhere on one of our birthdays every year, and that was Sedona for her birthday. So that was a new experience. And
Okay.
so we want to do more of that. We want to do Yellowstone. We've both never been. But yeah, she's beautiful in so many ways. And her hearing this, she's going to be like, you don't tell me this. You don't tell me this enough. But
You got to
yeah.
ask the right questions, dear.
Yeah.
It only takes 3 hours of whittling him down. He'll finally
And
spill the beans.
I'll say I'm the funny one in the relationship, but I got to give her credit. She's gotten funnier. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And her and I have we've had a lot of laughs together, and I think that's important.
It is, truly is.
We can be our true selves. That's also a big part, is just like we're not being someone that we're really not in our normal day to day. And she knows that. I'll do some dumb stuff from time to time, and she's like, just goes with it. She'll just go with it. Yeah.
It goes back to the point about living, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We often need to have that right partner in our lives that really helps us change to be better. And I can say the same in many regards. That
how long have you and your wife been together?
More than 10 years, almost 11 years. Yeah.
Married? 11 years or total?
10 years married.
Okay.
And then, about a year before that.
Okay. How'd you guys meet?
Online.
Oh, hell yeah. Welcome to
freedates.com or something like that. It was the worst website. Like you'd send a message.
Never been on a dating app, but it seems to be successful.
She was forced to do it by her friend. She got a bad relationship. Her friend signed her up for all of them. And I was like, yeah. I was like, man, I'll try, but I'm not paying any money for this stuff. This is stupid. So I tried it on free. I really think it was freedates.com. And she says, no, that's not it.
Sounds like an old website. It sounds like
it's not even there anymore. Like they didn't do a good job. But you'd send a message and it would never be delivered. So I thought that she didn't want to respond. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Then she would respond 3 weeks later, but then I didn't know it. So it was just this back and forth for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But we finally met and we had one dinner at the Melting Pot.
Okay.
That was it.
Andrea took me to the melting. I think it's a Melting Pot. One of our, I think it was for the first birthday I was with her for my birthday. Yeah.
Yep.
So what made you choose her? I'm going to ask you some questions now.
No, go for it, man. Yeah, go ahead. I don't mind. I see how you'd like to, divert here, but that's okay. That's all right.
Showing his age out here.
Yeah. No worries. When I saw the picture that and I still have it on my phone. I'm using my phone, unfortunately, to record. I'd show it to you. There was one picture on her profile, and that picture, I was looking through profiles and whatever. When I saw her picture, I literally smiled for so long, my cheeks hurt. And I went through it, and she popped back up because of the algorithm, whatever. And it happened again. And I caught myself. I said, why am I smiling? I have to talk to this girl. And sure enough, once we met, again, that whole time at the Melting Pot was about 6-hour date. So it was a long date. And so many things connect. There were so many things in common. We both thought we were just lying to each other. They're just saying what we want to hear. There's no way. We have the same scar on our chin from falling off the bike. It's just so many things.
I have a chin scar too.
Yeah. Don't ruin my moment here, man. Come on.
Sorry.
Man,
it's a very deep, special moment. I'm
yeah, I got one too.
Touche.
No, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. But no, so after that moment, I had a couple of dates lined up, all truth be told. And I said, look, I want to see you again. And I'm basically going to cancel everything I have planned. She's like, well, I'm traveling for a week. I'm like, okay, I'll wait. And so that was it. I walked her to her car, and I couldn't stop smiling, and that was the reason I chose her. And then from there, everything connected. But to your same points, I mean, she, and kind of where we're going with this, as far as my initial question, she created something in me I didn't know was there, and she helped me become somebody I never thought about being. And she'll jokingly and rightfully take credit for it today and pat herself on the back, and I give her a hard time for it. But that's exactly where we were going, ironically, is, talk about your wife's support and how she's helped you become a different man altogether.
That's amazing, man. That truly is. Yeah, like we as people on in the Pokemon space, we like, especially you YouTubers, like you're all supported by loved ones, your significant other, and they're that there's that person behind the screen that you don't know about, but they're just so important to the person that you're.
So much so.
Yeah, it's insane. That's awesome.
Speak a little bit, well, actually, I'll tell you my story. So I grew up with 2 sisters.
Okay.
They're not by blood.
Mm-hmm.
So we shared a house. I mentioned that, we kind of grew up in somewhat of a low income situation. So we shared a house with somebody who also had 2 girls that they were taking care of. And so I grew up with them for 6-7 years, like in the early kind of best years of my childhood. And so for them, they're my sisters, but they even have other brothers, and we're closer than her actual blood is in some cases. And from that perspective, I know you share some points of view on how you grew up, and your stepbrother you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I was curious about some of the relationships there, because those tend to be so different, but sometimes so much stronger than even those of our own family.
Yeah, I won't say it was all rainbows and sunshines. Like, I feel like especially as like little kids, like we butted heads from time to time.
Of course.
But I think we both mutually like understood the relationship my dad and his mom had. And I think him and I, we grew up doing a lot of the same things, and like we both had our unique interests. And my brother is funny as hell. He's the goofiest guy. Like, he's hilarious. And I think that we had both gone through some things in our lives very early on that had made our relationship stronger. He went through some things with his family, and the situation with mine, it was different, but we both, I think, both understood that we needed each other, and we knew that we had each other's backs no matter what. I actually remember, this was stupid, one of the few fights I ever got in, but I was in 2 grades higher than my brother, and I remember he was getting not necessarily bullied. Him and his friends weren't getting bullied, but like some other kids were causing some trouble. And I remember I found out who it was, and I just beeline for him, and it never happened again. And I'm not a fighter. Like, that was the last fight I ever been in. I was like 15, 16. I was 15 years old. There's been situations where he's had my back in a different way. And I just know that he's my brother. Like, I have other friends that I consider family too. Like, it doesn't have to be by blood. And I think there's more to it than that. There truly is.
What would it be? Like, how would you put words on that? What is the thing that ties you together so deeply, more than blood?
I think it's not necessarily shared experiences or shared trauma or anything like that. I think it's just, there's like sometimes you just connect with someone, and
Mm,
you mentioned this in our call before about, you can listen to someone for like 10 minutes and you can know
mm,
if they're a good person or not. And I
right.
think that I have a good eye for that just overall. But like the people I allow in my life, I have a strong connection with, and in one way or another. And I think that there's trust, there's, you know, a place of, like, there's a sense of safety, that
Mm,
I think that really makes a difference. I think with a lot of people, you can have a lot of friends that are surface level friends. You don't necessarily, you're not talking about your deep and darkest secrets with all of your friends, right? Like, there's
right.
certain things, like, I don't want to get into this that much personally because it's not something that I have a lot of knowledge with, and I think it's a, one of the it's a touchy topic. But I have a friend who has been affected by things that are happening in the world, in a way that I've never had a friend that, in that
Mm,
sense, where I don't understand, but I need to find ways to, like, educate myself. And
mm,
it's almost in a sense that I'm being challenged because I care about this person. And it's a lot because it's pretty grim.
mm,
Um, like, we get wrapped up into Pokemon, but everything that's happening in Palestine's pretty crazy. And I don't want to talk about much of it because I like I said, I'm not educated enough to. But what's happening there is, it's genocide, and
mm,
he has family that's out there, and I don't know how to relate to that. I don't know how to be a good friend to that person,
mm.
in a way that they see it. So I have to find ways to, you know, do that on my own. And that's a lot. That's heavy, right? Like, that's
That's a
you.
lot. Yeah.
It's heavy, but you want to be supportive of the people that you care about
Care
and
about.
want to
Yeah.
continue to have in your life. So I'm trying to do my due diligence to a degree to, show that I'm there,
Mm.
in the ways that it matters to them.
And kind of going back, even and tying it all back in, is those things when you see people like that, and to your point about whether it be your stepbrother or somebody else, that in my case, that was just somebody we lived with, those efforts from another person start to create this unspoken word that we can only describe as, I feel this connection, and you have some type of a bond, and it's very hard to put into words so many times. And you do that over years, and the bond is so strong. You sometimes never even get the opportunity or a chance to do that same thing with your family.
Yeah.
And so doing that with, again, a stepbrother, or somebody you live with, a good friend, whatever it may be,
Mm.
sometimes they can create the strong response. So
Yeah.
much respect there, man. Much respect.
Appreciate it. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love doing this. I know it's been 3 hours, and Andrea's home, and she's probably like, "What are we eating for dinner?" But I'm not trying to wrap this up in any way. But I
We're
absolutely,
almost there. We're almost there. Yeah, no worries, man.
what I was trying to get at is that I don't do YouTube often, and I don't have conversations like this with. I don't want to have them with just anyone. And like I told you about, like, I trust you. You're authentic, and I feel like I can have those conversations with you. And sure,
Thanks,
there's the
man.
chat, and people can take whatever they want as whatever they want. Um, but that's how I want to come off. Like, I want to be my authentic self, the highs, the lows, because, like, Pokemon's not always rainbow. It's not always that. Like, we have other things going on in our lives, whether it's, family issues, health issues, there's financial issues, all of those different
Yeah.
things that come into play into our reality. And I think we come to Pokemon as a sense of escape to a degree. And I love that. And I think that like when I like I was trying to get to, I'm already going on a tangent. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so ridiculous.
It's a good thing you're on Pokemon Rants.
What I'm saying is like I want to when I do stuff like this, I want to be me. Like I don't want to be anyone else. I want to be me in this, and I think that's scary and hard to do. It's not easy for at least it's not easy to me. Maybe it's easy to someone else, but
well, and I think you said it even in our conversations. Putting yourself out there and even having this conversation is, or going to a card party or a collecticon or whatever it may be. It's very vulnerable, and we're going to touch on that just a little bit here at the end.
Yeah.
But it's where the magic happens.
It does.
And
it
does. If you can let down those walls to some degree and let yourself experience life, everything opens up for you.
Yeah.
Everything does.
I agree.
So I'm glad you're here, and I really do appreciate you sharing, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I think this is a great way for us to look at this as we bring this to a close and let you have some dinner with your significant other, so we can maybe try to save at least a little bit of the night for you, and she's not mad at me the first time she hears about me. What are you looking to next, man? What's next for you, Jacob? Where's your horizon? Not just in Pokemon, but in life. Yeah. Where are you looking?
I feel like I'm pretty, I don't want to say junior in my career, but I want to try to establish myself in the career that I'm at. And I think that my current opportunity where I'm at is going to allow me to grow in certain areas. I won't say necessarily which, but there's some attributes to this role that I think will benefit me for my next opportunity, that I really want to stick it out here, see what happens. I financially want to be in a better place than I am now. I think we always all think that, but like there's things that I want to take on. And I had a small conversation with Andrea last night about those things. So I obviously want to be in a better financial place. I live in California. Josh mentions it all the time. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. Like it's not, but it's hard to, I've lived here in the Bay my entire life. I've seen the changes growing up. You can't have anything like somewhat livable unless you're paying way over $1 million. Like it's kind of absurd, and unless you're moving out of the area. And I know she wants to own a home at some point. So like, that's something that, we have to think about, like the long term. And so for me, like career progression, financial progression. I'm at an interesting point in my career where it's finally like there's some fire under there, and depending on where I take it, it can go to the level that I want to, where I have a good work-life balance. So yeah, that's it. And obviously travel more. Like
okay, there we go.
Like
I was gonna say, it sounds like these are all good things, but then what is it exactly. You want? Right?
Yeah, no, I want to travel more with Andrea. I think that's one of our favorite things about our relationship. We're locked in our trips. Like we navigate traveling so well. I think just the two of us, and we have similar, like when we're traveling or we're on vacation, we wake up early. We're doing this, and this. And if we crash at 6 p.m., that's okay. We'll be up the next morning ready to take on. Like, but we make the most. What I'm saying is we make the most out of our trips. And yeah, I just want more of that. I have a lot of fond memories of traveling with Andrea, and I want to build more of those for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Pack more into the itinerary, man.
Yeah.
So
That
go
and
from
more.
30-minute slot
Yeah,
to
yeah,
15-minute slots.
I know. I gotta juggle those with some Pokemon trips here and there too.
That's right.
Yep.
It's just an excuse, man. It's an excuse for another vacation. That's all it is, buddy.
Just need to bring all of the significant others to the next Collecticon so that there's
right.
all the girls can talk about what the hell we're doing.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Like we're all here because of Pokemon. This is crazy. Cheers to that. Cheers. All right, man. We'll bring it to a wrap and give you some night back. And it's funny because we talked about this a couple of times in a couple of different ways. We spoke about taking risks, exposing yourselves, and in a sense, it's a way for us to grow. Speaking both to yourself and perhaps to others. There's that one decision that we may be away from. It's making the phone call. It's reaching out on IG. It's showing up at the Collecticon. It's just that one more thing that you might need to do that you're scared to do. But you've obviously been pushing yourself over the past 5 years to continuously do that. And it's, as we said before, it opened up so much for you. What advice would you give that person that's waiting to make that first decision 5 years ago?
I mentioned this earlier, is that don't be afraid of failure and take that leap. Like, especially in this hobby, I feel like if you're genuine and you'll have others to support you along the way. Like just having like my local friends in this chat to show up for support, like
it's awesome.
That means a lot. Like that's like people that honestly, like no offense, that I've never heard of you, Wonder, that just here to show support is great. Like I love that. Yeah. And I think I would tell them just like nothing comes without risk. And you have to be okay when you fall and scrape your knee. You just get back up. I don't know where I heard this. I heard this recently. I don't know if it was in a movie or maybe it was one of these podcasts, but if you fall 7 times, you get up 8. You know what I mean? And I think that's so important. Is just you gotta set goals, but just know that your goals change. And it's okay to pivot. It's okay to, decide you don't like something or it just doesn't feel right to you, but constantly moving forward in whatever you're doing. If you're in this hot, like whatever it is, Pokemon, even your life, I just think that if you're not making any moves and you're constantly like doing research, like I think Dan says some stuff too, where it's just like you have all these like content creators where if you want to be a vendor, you can do all the research and just continue to learn. But if you don't go and have like a real life experience and do it yourself, you're really not learning anything. This hobby is people driven, and if you're doing it through a screen and only that, I don't know if you're gonna have a good time. Maybe some people do. There's more to this hobby than Discord and YouTube. You know what I mean?
I do. Yep. And I can't wait to see you in person as well.
Hell yeah.
To bridge this gap and get the screen out of the way. Yeah.
I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, I'm a hugger, so
I'm right there, man. No worries, man.
Yeah. And just when I come for the fist bump, it's just because of the hyperhidrosis. Like, you don't want my clammy hands. It's the dead fish, man. I'm not kidding.
I didn't know that. So when I put it in the intro, I meant no offense.
Oh no, I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, he doesn't know this, but it is what it is. Like, my dad passed it down to me. It's genetics. What am I gonna do? Yeah. Put
it in the intro, I guess. That's what we'll do.
I want to say again, thank you, Justin, so much for this. I I don't know what the chat thinks of me. I mean, whatever that is, like I'm excited to have been part of this and just getting to know you, having this conversation. I feel like not just this call, but our call yesterday, I just thoroughly enjoyed, and
Me too, man.
I'm so grateful to know you and be a part of what you've built, and to some degree, even if that's just a blip. I see you doing great things, not just in the YouTube space, but what you're doing elsewhere.
Thank you,
Um,
man.
and I'm excited to see what's next for you. And I'm just know that I'm rooting for you as a friend.
Thank
Um,
you, man.
and yeah, anytime you want to talk about anything, I'm ready for it. As you can see, like I can't not believe that says 3 hours and 15 minutes. That is
You
crazy.
got me smiling so much, man. My face is hurting, dude. Appreciate it,
No,
dude. Thank you,
seriously, I
man.
mean it. I mean it.
I know you do. I know you do. And that's exactly why I can't wait to meet you in person, man. We get a nice bearded hug, man.
Hell
We'll
yeah.
hug it out.
Hell yeah.
We'll hug it out. You know,
I
we
know,
gotta leave
I
you on
know,
this,
I
man.
know.
You
Quilly
know,
is Quilly and Pokeneer are probably gonna text me and say like, when are they gonna kiss? I know he's. I know they're trolling hard in the background. I know it.
You seen that episode of Big Bang Theory where Howard and Rajesh create the kissing machine? It's a
No,
virtual kissing. Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I won't tell you.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll let you see that one because it's not. We could go from PG to just downhill real
yeah.
fast. Yeah.
I have a question.
Well, yeah, please.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to you a little bit about what you're doing outside of YouTube, and like, but I want to know, like, you've been interviewing people for quite some time now. Has there been something about these interviews that has surprised you, or kind of seen you look at this hobby differently? Just from your perspective, not necessarily like YouTube, like, yeah, your experience on YouTube, because I know you do some of your own videos that are separate from a lot of these interviews, but it seems like we the interviews have been becoming like the weight of your channel.
It has, in part because so a couple of questions there, so I'll go work my way backwards. Yeah, in part it has become the weight of the channel because I enjoy it so much. It's such a good time, such a great conversation, and it's for me. It's not even because things are going crazy and we're blowing up, our money's falling from the sky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
None of that's happening. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so this is purely because I enjoy the people and the hobby, and connecting and building relationships, and it's fulfillment. It really feels fulfilling to do this. Um, what I've seen, I wouldn't say it surprises me because one of the things, again, I even talked to my wife about this, and I think I said it to you yesterday when we were talking. But one of the things I said to my wife yesterday, as we were talking about just things at the house and finances and the kids and challenges we all have in life, is what we're looking for, we'll find it, and make sure you're looking for the right thing. And I think I even wrote that recently on one of the giveaway cards that I was signing and kind of giving like a thank you message. And you got to be really careful what you look for because it's always there, the good, the bad, like whatever it is, it's always there. And which goes back to the ironically the question about reality or belief. Now, granted, you can't live so far out of reality that you're delusional, but there is a perspective of belief that will change your entire reality depending on how you look at it. So now let's tie that back in, right?
Yeah.
So your question now is about the interviews.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at what I found because I was looking for it.
I see.
But the amount of amazing people willing to step in and help, I mean, just to donate 3 hours and 20 minutes of their time and have a conversation with what just a week ago may have been a complete stranger. To your point, people opening up their house and their safety and in some cases even their family to a complete stranger,
Yeah.
to help them out, for what I would probably argue to say is the better good of the hobby and perhaps even humanity. It is something that I am continuously trying to absorb because there's just so much of it. I'm taken away. It's just I'm overwhelmed with the amount of amazing people in the hobby.
Yeah.
And to your points earlier about whether it's a Rusty, it's a PK, it's a Hodo Jake, it's everybody that we speak. I had maybe one person that was less than giving with their time and had something negative to say, but everybody else is like, yeah, sure. You want to have a conversation? Yeah, sure. Happy to do that. Or you need help on how to do this, or how to grade this, or what my perception is on X, Y, or Z. Everybody is willing to step in.
Yeah.
And I don't see that anywhere. Now, granted, I'm not working as hard in those other spaces in another vertical to try to find it. Now, I was in the tech space, as you know, and it wasn't like that. There
No.
was always some motive. There was always something that they want to get out of it. It's in some way, especially in the company or B2B
Yeah.
space, it's tied back to a sales pitch somewhere. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
like I'm not interested in all of that.
Yeah. It
Here
doesn't
it's different. Yeah.
authentic. Yeah.
No, not at all. I've been to the like Microsoft Ignites and like all those other technical events, and they're great. I've learned a lot, but it's not the same. You go to a Collecticon, you hang out with people like yourself, everything changes. Like you
Yeah.
build friendships for life, and people.
Yeah.
And I was
Sometimes,
joking, but they'll
no,
come
but
pick you up at 3 a.m.
yeah.
Say, hey, you
And
got a flat tire?
sometimes,
I'm coming.
yeah, exactly. Like, and that's something, yeah, I want to add to that. It's just like sometimes you only see these people once or twice a year at
Mhm.
max, and
Yeah.
they're friends for life. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if, yeah, it's kind of crazy. This Pokemon has a special place in a lot of our lives, and it's done a lot for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
it's great to be here. I'm
I
glad to
couldn't
be
say it
part of it.
better. Yeah. I'm thankful to be a part of it.
Yeah,
True and
really.
through and through.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that, my friend.
I'm low battery too. My laptop's about to
All
cut it.
right. Well, this is it. This is it. What legacy do you hope to leave in the hobby when you're gone, my friend?
I think it's very important to me to I want to see, like, I don't plan on having kids. Andre and I have had that conversation. We don't necessarily want kids, but I really want to pass this hobby on to the next generation where it can live another 25, 30 years after after their generation. You know what I mean? I really want to see it continue as long as Pokemon is still pumping out cards and new games and new animes. I want kids to experience what I experienced as a kid over and over again because it's so special. Um, I I don't know what it is about Pokemon. I don't get it. I truly don't. It could have been anything.
Digimon, name it, Care
Yeah,
Bears, like whatever.
it could have been anything. Yeah, and like I just grew up at the right time, and it's so special to me. And I truly, like, I'll run into kids and I'll give them cards. I'll give them
Mhm.
something that they don't have. I gave away some ancient Mews because like kids think that card's worth a lot, right? Like we all used to think that card would
Yeah.
be worth a lot. And I just think that I want to be part of the growth in this hobby, the positive aspects of this hobby,
Yeah.
and show that that this hobby has a long it's gonna be here for a while, and it's because of people that I aim to be like, and
Mm.
what I see in myself. And so yeah, that's the sort of legacy I want to leave behind. And we're all temporary collectors, right? Like we're only going to have this stuff for as long as we're here, and we want to pass that down to people that we know are going to appreciate it the way we did and understand it to some degree. Maybe they won't at that time, we like,
Right.
but I think that, as that next generation gets older, they're going to understand. And man, just wait till we see the Pokemon that come out in the next 10, 15 years. Like, it's
I
crazy.
can't imagine. Can't
Oh,
imagine,
I
man.
can't wait till Scarlet and Violet is mid-era.
Right. Yeah, right. Remember back in the 1924s when they went to silver borders? That was crazy.
Yeah,
Good
I
stuff, man.
know. Yellow borders. That was 50 years ago. That's crazy to me. Yeah. I know I think it's very special to people like us that have been in this hobby since it kind of came out, and we all want to be bullish on to a degree when it comes to that, right? We want to see and that's why what I was saying earlier is like we want to see the next generation have those experiences all over again, because I had great experiences with it. I'm sure most people in here also had those experiences, and maybe they didn't grow up with it as soon as it came out. Maybe they came out like they started with Gen 3, and that's super cool. Like Gen 20 is going to happen. Like, it's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, it's not that far in the future, man.
No.
And whatever we can do to help prepare the path for the future generations to come, that's our current duty, man. I'm happy to do it. Happy to serve. Happy to serve.
Same.
Jacob, man, as always, dude, pleasure, deep pleasure talking to you. Really appreciate the time.
Seriously, this was amazing.
Please give your significant other my regards for a late dinner. Do something good for a steak on me.
She's probably watching in the other room too, so she hears you.
Street tacos on me. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Got it.
Might have to tomorrow. Friday tacos gonna hit different.
Oh man, you gotta do it. You gotta do it, man. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you. So they're on me, man. But no, all seriousness, give her my thanks for sharing the time, and stay connected, my friend. I can't wait to talk to you soon, and of course, we'll be talking a lot more here in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be rooting for you, and hopefully, I see you in Charlotte. Thanks again.
Sounds great, man.
Appreciate you.
Everybody else, make sure you check out the link below, his IG. You won't be disappointed. Some awesome stuff coming out there. Stay tuned. I have a feeling you're going to see some really cool things coming from Mr. Hodo Jake very soon. I appreciate all your time as always. Have a great one. See you on the next Pokemon Rants, guys. Bye.